Hold on. I'm gonna put a shirt on. So, yeah. Offline. Broke. I'm a brokey. I should take a shower, actually. That'd be smart, but I'm gonna wait. I think it's gonna get sweaty anyway. No, I was not prepared.
So thank you everyone for being here. We have a special video today. So when the party originally made the Kritika Nakshatra video, UG was missing. So UG could not make it. So I know she had a lot of knowledge to share on Kritika Nakshatra actually. So here we have another opportunity where UG will be sharing. It's like Kritika Nakshatra part 2 from Biting, So of course we'll be joining in when she's adding a thing. So I'll hand it over to UG now. She can start off with the prayer actually. Go ahead, UG.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Khalagni Rudraya. Om Mahajwalaya Vimahe. Agni Madhyaya Dhimahi. Tano Agni Prachodaya Ata. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Neelalohitaya Vishnu Vallabhaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So first of all, I want to start with bowing to all of you as my siblings in this vidya and as my teachers and my gurus. I ask that everyone be protected from my ignorance. It's really hard to do these nakshatras justice. We're going to try. So even though I'm presenting the part that was left out, the Pi team is going to chime in. Please, guys, share your knowledge with me. All right, let me share my screen. So we're honoring a big Devata today. This is the thing. Agni, Jata Veda. Big Devata of the Ruk Veda, of one of the most sacred Devatas. So if I'm graced, I'll be able to do some justice. Can you see my screen, guys?
Okay. Yeah.
And before we get started, guys, in the light of siblings, I get questions about, and I can tell you my website is jyotisiddhanta.com, and the email is admin@jyotisiddhanta.com. I am booked out really far in advance. So there are students, I actually even prepared just a little PDF of these dear students have been working with me for a long time. They study with other teachers too. I'm not, Tulsi here studied with other teachers. Ekaterina is very devoted to Kay and Ralji. I mean, they've studied with other people. I'm not the only teacher, but they have stayed in my advanced class for so long with nakshatras. There's a few of them working on a manual. Tarun here, Nandita, Ekaterina, Jane Ann. They're all working on a manual for the nakshatra technique, so that'll be also something for students soon. But there's 2 of them offering sessions. According to nakshatra, they give nakshatra jyotish readings. And Nandita teaches the technique that you see me do on Kapilji's channel and on Dr. Paiji's channel. She's just lovely with this. She's so devoted, and she's very devoted to her students. So I wanted to show you, all of you guys, her. And Allison here has finally set forward to start giving sessions. So they aren't me. I'm not a guru. I am a fellow student. I feel like an elder sister in this. They will have their own style. They'll have their own background. I am not a guru. I do not like that business. I do not want disciples. They will have their own way of doing things, but they will be following the technique, okay? So I'm not saying that they're going to behave exactly like me, or they might say something different. That's okay. But they are doing the technique. So if you guys are looking for that kind of a session with someone, I just wanted to recommend those two students, and wanted to bow to their devotion properly in the light of Agni. I always pray that all my students outshine me. Okay. All right. So, let's get down to Kritika, guys. First, I wanted to show you guys something interesting. How Togi-ji showed us the sperm cell going into the egg with the Mugga video. Look at how much the ovum looks like Surya.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to become important because when we're entering the realm of Agni, we're entering one of the most important tattvas that makes life possible, and most people don't relate it with baby. But we are about to see something amazing with that. One of my dear students, she's very devoted to K and Rauji. She's got her own thing, but she's been in my class, and she's brilliant with Sanskrit, Ekaterina. She sent Durga Suktam, and it's full of Agni. Agni this, Agni that. So we're going to go over that. She brought it forward in the class, and I just thought it was brilliant. Okay, so I wanted to lay a little foundation of how different this may be than what people are thinking. Okay, so let's open with we've got a lot today, guys. So please, if you're not watching this video, I want to encourage you to watch it because I put a lot in the presentation for you to have screenshots. I do this for students that are sincere so that they can find all the resources. So, let's start with the Devata of Kritika, and let's do justice to that. Agni, fire tattva, fire element. Without that, there's no chemistry, there's no light, there's no transformation. And though we call this the cutting star, when you see this star of hunger down here, please don't think I'm going to be talking about cooking or anything like that. Just wait. It's a very important reason I am bringing this up. And first of all, I wanted to honor Agni Dev as the teacher of Jyotish Shastra. Agni Puran has a lot of Jyotish Shastra, but also he's that which illumines. The Agni Tattva is the light of anything, the luminaries. It's the Adidevata of Surya. Tejas, the light of the mind, the light of the intellect even. So to digest anything, whether it's food, whether it's knowledge for comprehension, you need light, sight. Let there be light, right?
So what happens when they disappear?
Tapas is another feature of this, to create friction, heat. So this is one of the most important nakshatras to understand life, and it's one of the most important devatas to understand. Really, we couldn't understand without Agni. It's also the cutting star. Now, this is very interesting from the Agneya, the Agni Puran. Agneya is one of its names. Agni gives bhukti and mukti. And look, it's falling in the last portion of Aries.
Enjoyment.
And most of its plagas are in Taurus, the second house.
And
this becomes a really pointed place that we should concentrate our awareness when we're trying to understand what Kritika really is. Where is Kritika on the Kal Purush?
The first house.
Well, let's look at something here. This is a lovely little website. I left his name, Srinivasa Rao. He gathers all this knowledge and puts it on his website. It's a good resource for students because he often takes clips from the direct Shastra. Everything is food. Everything is a play of Agni and Soma. We are in a Havan Kund.
Look at the symbol for the sun.
The world is a yajna. The world is a sacrifice. Kal Agni is devouring us all. Time is eating us all. And here are some of the classical statements about the relationship between Agni and Soma. There is a constant consuming that Agni is doing. So consuming anything is always Agni, whether it's knowledge, whether it's pleasure, whether it's consuming through the Indriyas. All the Indriyas are on the face, the second bhava. That's why Rishi Parashar calls it the house of desire. Because what you see, what you hear, what you taste, you move towards, you have an engine, right? Agni, desire. You move towards that to consume it. We're consuming every moment through your pupil. Light penetrates your pupil. That's why the pupil in your eyes are referred to as yonis. It's said that your mother shapes your pupil in some of the Shastras. It's not a mistake. It is getting penetrated by the light. And it illumines this world around us, the stula indriyas, the gross senses, illumines this world around us, and our eyes consume forms and colors. So there's a constant play of the consumer and that which is consumed. And this is the basis of creation.
Life
so
thrives.
Everything is food.
Life thrives on life.
Literally, time is eating everything. And it's assigned to even eat Brahma. Even Brahma becomes a soma for Kal Agni. Even Indra, the Devaloka, all the lokas become food for Mahakal. So please take a screenshot, guys. I'm not going to, of course, read everything on here. Students that are serious, please watch this on your laptop. So these references yourself. I never want anyone to take my word for it. So this is exactly what I just described. This would be good to take a screenshot of as well. This Kal Agni Rudra Upanishad is about the Tritundra, the 3 marks of Lord Shiva, and ash, vibhuti, from a dead body. Because all will be consumed by this fire. We are the Soma. He is the cooker of the universe. He is the cook. Hunger is the nature of this world. Everything is driven by hunger, whether it's a desire for knowledge, doesn't matter. I have people come to me and they'll be like, I have no desires, but yet they're wanting to consume the vidya.
Same, you're wrong. Exactly.
They got a lot of desire, actually. It's just not, what they're referring to is it might not be through the gross indriyas, but it's still hunger. Okay. So we have it after the nakshatra of Bharani. And this is going to become significant. So we're about to get into something really important here to understand any nakshatra really is there's a story and a sequence. Bharani,
my do not disturb's on.
We're going to see this, how this relates in Yoga Shastra, because I am going to be illuminating a lot of Yoga Shastra in this talk. I'm not going to stay at a base level.
With her as my witness.
Example charts that will show some of that.
No.
But I want to do Agni justice because he's actually the cause of knowledge.
Your mom?
He's the cause of direct...
Can you leave me alone?
He's the cause of consuming the false.
Okay, I'll remember this.
And revealing the
Seed of Yamaraj, the great
He's
controller.
the cause of the...
I know I am, but what are you?
Of our mind.
Keep talking to my door. I'm remembering all this.
It said that Agni even shapes the fetus in the womb. He gives shape to everything.
All right, keep telling me what to do.
So it's important to understand when we're looking at Jyotish Shastra, we're looking at karma phalita. Karma.
No. All right.
Your chart is a prison. It's not your soul.
Well,
it's not you. It's not you. It's a temporary one life prarabdha karma. It's a prison.
I wasn't paying attention to what the day was.
Time is even devouring all those karmas.
Keep open.
So I wanted to show that in the Skanda Puran, we see the human being body as a microcosm of the macrocosm.
Back at you.
Because this is very important for yoga.
Right as classic music.
Some people say, they're like, are you sure you're just not
fuck you.
relating but everything
fuck you.
Shastra? What were the rishis teaching before us, guys?
Because my whole schedule's online. Everybody knows I'm fighting Placidus. Fuck you.
What were these
fuck you.
They were teaching.
Cool, me too. Me too. Me too. I don't want to lie. I'm lying. That's stupid.
So they understood the cycle.
Oh, fuck you, Claire. Fuck
and the
you.
prarabdha of this body is done. Yamraj comes for you.
Okay,
And he
good.
explains what? The prana.
That's why I said it.
Pulls them out of the Brahmarandra or whichever chakra you're going to exit the body.
Shout out to Yamran, the great controller.
Kritika is the next nakshatra after him. That's very interesting, right? So with Bharani...
Fuck you! Fuck you! Wasted Adron.
It's a...
Thank you. Hypocrite.
Revati's relationship with Bharani is that of death. That's the medical trinity. Revati, emergency room or emergency nurses. Ashwini, the emergency doctor. And Bharani, you're dead. Okay, it is the medical trinity. Revati, Ashwini, Bharani. So Revati and Ashwini have a very different relationship with Bharani than Kritika and Rohini. Kritika's relationship with Bharani is that of life. The pranas have now been installed in a new body, and the Brahmarandra is sealed. Baby's head is still soft. Grow older and get hard-headed, literally. Okay? So when you're ready to take a new body, you get a mama, you get a mummy. You get ma. And right after the baby's born, what is it? After it takes its first breath. Now, yogis always say, Vayu stokes Agni, stokes the flame. So the yogis always said that the breath of life stokes the Agni. They knew how to manipulate that for moksha. But in a basic living being, the minute it takes its birth, it breathes, and all of a sudden it cries for food.
Do not disturb zone. Fuck you.
Ashwini, the two nostrils. Bharani, fate is sealed. Technically, fate gets sealed in both movies we're going to do next.
Bother me too.
And trust me, I have a lot for that one too.
Yeah.
The fate is sealed on the forehead. What part of the body does Rohini rule?
Mother's the
Guys? Anyone know?
Probably the eyebrows, the brown.
Yeah, Mrigashira, they associate technically with the eyes for whatever reason. Rohini, they put in the forehead. Brahma stamps the forehead with fate right after Kritika.
So this is a nakshatra Upanishad body parts, right? Which I'm mentioning the forehead kind of thing?
Yeah, nakshatra. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if I do anything like that, guys, correct me. Yes, just so that the students know. So
you are pointing your mother.
Please don't interrupt me.
Nakshatra, the moon.
I already said online I hate being interrupted.
That's right next.
So if you do stuff that I tell you that I hate, get ready to get cussed out straight up.
So the baby gets his first nourishment. Now, I want to highlight how important Aries and Taurus are.
Especially if you're related to me.
Mesha, Vrishab, for birth. Literally, the uterus looks like a ram's head. Mesha.
Or if you're a dude.
Yama yokes you in that. And then as we were talking in the Mugga video, I thought this would be a good addition. So we are between animal and deva.
Exactly. Right. Aries natural first.
Two sides of the brain are different people. We are actually the Ashwins.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's a very deep thing. Okay, Ida Pingala, the two nostrils. So this process of birth, it's very much like Surya. The female reproductive, please realize, is very much more like Surya. Surya is Ucha where? Please take screenshots, guys, because I might not read all this. Watching. I just want to remind one more time.
In Ashwini, right?
Yeah, in the science, in Mesha. He rises in the east.
Mesha.
That's the womb.
There,
that's why Rishi Parashar mentions that maybe a chart of a female should be read 7th house is Lagna. Because her Muladhara, her reproductive, would then become Aries. And female reproductive fluid and the
right. So ascendant. So her ascendant in her ascending
period blood, the menstrual blood is said to be Agni. Okay, so a woman is related to a Havan Kund. Her uterus is said to be a Havan Kund in the Upanishads.
What the heck does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
So let's get into that. Kritika's Nakshatrapati is Surya. It's a Shiva Trimurti nakshatra, which we'll get into at a later time. But just think about its Nakshatrapati, and the Vimshotri Dasha is Surya.
Oh!
This is also Surya's Adidevata. Surya is Tejas Karka, Tejas, the divine fire in consciousness, if you want it, for lack of a better word, the divine fire within the chitta that illumines and sees all and digests all, consumes all.
Agni.
Now, this is a really important part of Kritika because this Surya Dev has some role to play here. There's no mistake why they assigned the Vimshotri Dasha lords. Our DNA cuts off at 120 years. Technically, in the Kali Yuga, for whatever reason, we're supposed to be living 20 years, but we have Rakshasas interfering. I won't get into that. People are poisoning us. But technically, you're supposed to be living 120-year lifespan. So these days, I just want to draw attention to the Nakshatrapati of the Vimshotri Dasha is very important for human life.
So what are we complaining about here?
Manusya, for the life of humans. And there's never any mistakes. So we have Agni. Okay, and this is going to be important with our example charts, guys. So I want you to see this once again, screenshots. Okay, I'm not going to read all this to you. Now we get to Moon, which is huge. So this is an interesting nakshatra because it's got a nakshatrapati of Surya. Devata is Agni. And then Moon finds its ucha point here and Janma nakshatra. Chandra is born in this nakshatra. Soma is born through this. Okay, so we also have that hunger.
I was going to say, if you want me to be okay with being interrupted, you can go ahead and give me an ayahuasca trip.
We are Deva Bhojana. We are.
Make it happen for free. Not with Hera.
That could be a little
not
creepy.
For giving Hera for free.
But you could take it as a simple thing that the Kal Agni is eating the body through age. However, there's a lot to this point. Okay, so the newborn baby realizes the hunger of Agni. Its body is Soma, and it needs Soma to keep it alive. Okay, because it has to feed the little Jatar Agni in the belly. That Jatar Agni, as soon as the breath goes, the little baby cries for food. I need food to survive. You have to eat the food of this world to stay in this world.
I hear that.
Now, this mouth thing is going to become very important. Chandra is the mouth and the tongue. We're going to get into deeper Yoga Shastra, so I want to make sure that everyone listening understands this part. Agni is also called the mouth of the gods because he eats everything. Okay, Moon is also mouth. So this consuming principle here with Agni is primary, but it needs to be considered. It needs to be properly understood. Okay, so the Annamaya Kosha, or the food body, the physical body, is sustained by the food of this world, and you are a Havan offering that food to the Jatar Agni in your belly. So your Indriyas all being on your face, they are all consuming. Your eyes are consuming, your nose is consuming, your ears are consuming, your skin is consuming.
We won't use buffs to start out as much.
So you are at one time Soma and Agni. Everything within you is consuming through a metabolic force, well, through a catabolic force, actually. But the Chandra part is the anabolic, the growth factor. And metabolic is keeping them both in balance. Okay. So we have the Shaka Nakshatra, where the moon is Nicha right across. This becomes really important with Kapilji. We're going to be doing the Shaka, so I won't stay long here. The Shaka, the weapon of Indra, is the weapon of the subtle world. That is the Kundalini Shakti. Now remember I said the human being is a microcosm of the macrocosm, because the yogis speak like this. I didn't just invent that, or I'm not just coming up with it with fantasy. They speak like that.
Yeah.
Yoga is what these guys were doing. There was nothing else they were doing. Real yoga, not bending their bodies as superficial. Okay, so where the mouth is Nicha, is at that base where the electric Kundalini Shakti is. So Indra's story, very simple. Sahasrayoni, physical senses, getting born through womb after womb after womb. Then he becomes Deva Raja. He becomes the lord of this subtle world.
I remember this.
The Devas. Devaloka is between the higher lokas and the earth. So he becomes now the Linga Sharira, or the Sukshma Sharira, with 1,000 eyes. Lakshmi, Shakti, which is about to play a big role in this. Shakti makes him Sahasraksha.
I hear that.
Kundalini. Kula Kundali, when it's awakened, makes you go from Sahasra Yoni to Sahasraksha.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The subtle body sees in all directions. Everyone that leaves their body, I've said this in other videos, everyone that leaves their body says it's a 360 view. Near-death experiences, it's not the same kind of forward vision. So he is the king of the subtle lightning. And that's what blessed him. Devi blessed him with this seat of Indra, Devaraja. So now I'm going to get into Yoga Shastra. It's very important because you should know yourself. I meditated today very deeply on how alarmed I am at people giving away their power to so many influencers, to so many gurus. Some are real.
So many of them?
It's a dangerous world with this.
Isn't there only one Leo?
You are a walking temple of God. You are autonomous and sovereign. And Yoga Shastra is your key to that independence.
Get loose.
This is Goraksha. Anyone know this? Goraksha Shataka?
Oh, no.
Goraknath?
Only by seeing, sorry.
A great Nath yogi, disciple of Matsyendranath. He has some very unique things in that Shataka. He's got a chakra dharana I've never seen before in any other Yoga Shastra. And one of them, he puts a big emphasis on the chakra in the mouth. This is said to get control over the fire tattva. Agni tattva. Is it a mistake that it's in the mouth?
No. It's not. No.
These rishis are the ones that Jyotish comes from. They knew this.
Okay.
All the Upanishad gurus, all of the rishis, wanted their disciples independent, not dependent. This is completely reversed now. These people making you dependent on them. That is not correct. That is not... Deep respect for the guru and reverence was there. Yes, people wrote hymns to their guru, praising Shankaracharya, all this, because they understood that without that knowledge, they couldn't have become sovereign. That's the respect of the guru, not to become dependent. You're not supposed to become Chandra. You're supposed to become Surya. Meaning, you're supposed to realize your own Atma Jyoti.
Yeah, exactly, bro. You're the best astrologer.
You're not supposed to remain in a state of dependency. So these guys would teach their disciples how to be independent. So here, this Kechari Mudra, to walk in the sky. Okay, the tongue goes into the sinus cavity. Cavities are ruled by Vayu. So this is what this means.
Rebounding.
This mudra
propagate
deals with this chakra, which is said to also block the Kundalini Shakti.
Sucker.
And when you push the soft palate back and the tongue goes up, something really unique happens to your breath. When you actually get to that point, anyone who knows that knows what I'm talking about. Something really unique happens with how long you can hold your breath, and you can do many of these practices properly. And this was to make you independent. Okay.
Breathing is.
So I wanted to give some graphs. Guys, this is a visual for anyone listening on the phone. So go back and look at it if you need to. This was aligned with the pituitary gland. So when the tongue goes up in the sinus cavity, it actually hits it goes up towards that pituitary gland. They're exactly aligned.
You know that.
Okay. Then this Bindu Visarga in the back of the head. Okay. This actually has a perfect alignment with the pineal gland.
Yeah, holy crap. Mu upscale, Mu 2 upscale.
So there's this chakra that's exactly aligned with the mouth, and this pituitary gland is here where the tongue would be going up. Agni, that chakra of Agni, is eating soma there. How do yogis prevent rapid aging? They still have to face death.
Yeah, usually
they can live to 200 years. They still face death. We're going to talk about that. It's not something mortality, but it's longevity. It's a longer life so that you can do your sadhana. And you can regenerate. There's practices for this. That is one of them. The soma, the upside down moon, is dripping down. This Agni chakra, the mouth, the tongue takes it. Okay? So Agni is also synonymous in the Yoga Shastra with the Sushumna Nadi. And I wanted to show evidence of that. This is also Goraksha Shatakam, but it's in many books. It's not only specific to this one. It is constant that Agni is called the Sushumna Nadi. Surya is the Pingala, Chandra is the Ida. But then if you read Yoga Shastra and you take time to invest in yourself, because that's what it's for. It's not for dependency.
Not investing in your mom.
If you take time to invest in yourself and you read Yoga Shastra, then you'll see that there's many moons and many suns in the body. I don't know how Jyotishis are practicing without studying.
First they'll call you Cancer, and then if you want to be a Gemini, they'll call you a female dog.
I actually don't know how they're practicing because it's all connected. It's all together. It's really sloppy Jyotish if we don't know this.
I'm still kind.
Because that means Surya and Chandra are affecting those centers in the body. Wherever the yogis are saying that they exist, I guarantee you Chandra and Surya are affecting that. Okay. Here we have that soft palette again. It always goes back to that. Havan Kun.
You used to be kind.
This is another thing I don't see people knowing. The original Havan Kuns in the Brahmanas. And guys, if you have anything to offer with this, please, because this is very unique. I wanted to show you how connected this was to Yoga Shastra. Look at this from Goraksha Shatakam.
Fair enough.
As a falcon tied with a string can be drawn back again.
Yeah, I might not get done after 3 hours.
Even if it flies away.
Part one.
Similarly, Jiva, tied by the gunas, is drawn by prana and apana back to the body, is what he's saying. This is why they sought to control Vayu. It's the pranas controlling the mind and making it go everywhere. The original Havan Kuns, one of the biggest rituals was in the shape of a falcon.
Maybe we don't even use twin to start.
It's useless. Maybe I can just add a quick thing here. It's interesting because just recently in my city, Calicut in Kerala, we had a big, what they call Adhiratram actually. Adhiratram is like what they call as I think they did the Agni Stoma Yagya before, and now the next stage is like Adhiratram, in which you actually have to arrange the bricks in the shape of this particular thing. And then they actually do the Havan. They just add that particular thing. Attended.
Yeah, make sure you watch this.
You can see that there's like a lot of going on that front actually. So like it's a great thing. There is this kind of a brick layout for the Havan, and then apparently a different kind of a Havan Kunds kind of thing. And then one of the brick layouts is like this actually, and it's exactly the same thing. Like the concept of that of Garuda being involved in that Havan Kund kind of thing. From what someone told me many years ago. So, but it's great. I'm glad that you're explaining that actually.
I didn't know that this was happening to you too.
Yeah, I got to know. Like yesterday I was watching this video.
Is it that rain happens after that? That's the event?
Yeah, this one was more, what they said was that they'll do the rituals even into the night time act. It was more like bringing that spiritual awareness in the darkness of night.
Yajna. So there's something going on with these things always. They're always connected. These guys were not disjointed. Not like Western scientists. Oh, you study this. You know that has a government feature. Right? They wanted to make sure that you're a specialist in one thing like that so that knowledge remains divided. These guys didn't think this way. These guys were integrated because they were benevolent. They weren't seeking control of the people.
Right.
Okay, so this is very cool. I did not know that, Santatji. I didn't know that it's happening recently. That's so odd because I found it in the
it was like a 2-week event apparently, and then they had to do a lot of series of Yajna, but they could do this particular Yajna only if the other previous Agni Stoma was fulfilled actually. So that was done like 14 years ago or something. So now they could advance to the next thing actually. And it's a very famous thing. There's a movie where they did Adhiratram to attract rain, so that's what Aditya was referring to. So that's how we did. And there's a lot of hidden blessings of that also. So it's kind of interesting that.
There is a nice Malayalam movie, correct?
Yeah, there's a famous movie where the communist son and the priest father does the Adhiratram and then convinces that rain has come.
Oh, beautiful. One could see it's a Malayalam movie.
Yeah.
I don't understand Malayalam though. You'll have to give me a subtitle.
And
he challenges his father, what is this nonsense and all you are doing. And then finally at the end of the movie, he himself becomes that. His father is dead. And now he understands all that and he's so impressed that he takes the role of his father finally at the end of it.
Wow, that's such a Surya. That's such a ugly thing.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. It's cool. I've had this in my notes for years. because I didn't know. No one's ever taught it to me. I've been like, what is this?
Not even about it.
And then I can think of it from the Yoga Shastra point of view, but Agni in Yoga Shastra, so the Surya, when there's a certain sun in the Navi, this is also in Bharat Shastra.
Half the words I don't even understand. I only know half of these.
And it burns upward. Mm-hmm. And it melts the moon. And guess what they say? The moon rains down.
Okay.
The moon rains down so much. So maybe this is for rain. I mean, maybe in a...
Actually, what happened, I could say this story actually. I used to work in India back, correct? And I had in optical division, I had a person. He was an optic scientist. Of course, he retired after that. I came to the US after many, many years. I saw him in one video where he was putting his spectroscopy during this ritual. Because what was he thinking is during the ritual, we are putting some of the elements in the fire that is like a cloud seeding process.
Yes, it's cloud seeding.
Oh, exactly.
That's what he was trying to get the spectroscopy. I said, oh my God, this professor, what is he doing here? And I had that video somewhere, and it was after many years I saw him in YouTube, and it was after that again, that event brought me back to my teacher.
You're Aditya. You're our Aditya.
Yes. I think they would do also like you burned the entire thing now. They burned the entire the horn couldn't place and all that. There's no more thing left. And the entire Yagashala has burned up.
Oh, he's dead!
It's also a fairly common thing practice in this so yeah.
This is interesting because when the householder, you were supposed to be a householder to attend a
11th house.
And all householders have their homa. Their homa that they did in cloud seeding. If everyone is following dharma,
kind of not really
you see, it's actually so intelligent and it's all natural. It won't destroy the environment.
You used it, me.
This is so beautiful. So now we get to the Kurma one. I couldn't find a good image of it. But this is very interesting, and I will bet so that if anything comes to you later in this talk or any time, there is something in the Brahmanas. I've saved this for so many years because I've always been some link with this. I don't know. So they were asking for this blessing from sacrifice. So it stood still from Agni. It stood still for Agni. So Agni became the god of the sacrifice. The blessings or whatever they were appropriating stood still for that. It stopped moving.
Oh, the mountain.
And I understand it from a yogic sense. I don't understand it from the story. Okay, so everything stops for Agni. Everything stops for concentration. Everything stops with illumination. But it became the shape of a turtle first. The sacrificial cake became a korma. And right when it became a korma is when they said Agni and it stopped. So there's some relationship between this korma and the Havan Kund Agni. That's esoteric.
I was kind.
I deeply understand this from Yoga Shastra, but I bet it has other meanings like you guys are thinking. I bet it has something that you may think of.
Feels way better.
I can explain it from the turtle shell. Kapal. It looks like a skull cap. So in Yoga Shastra, sometimes the turtle shell is in reference to this skull cap and what is going on in it. Why does Kali hold the skull cap? Why does Kurma avatar become the foundation for the churning? Because Meru is mentioned in all the Yoga Shastras as your Shishumna.
Let me some chakra, Kurma. This is face
the foundation for Agni, the Shishumna Nari. Okay, the Ida Pingala, the Devas and the Rakshasas. If you have a very base understanding of the Rakshasas or Asuras, if you disrespect them, that's wrong.
I hear that.
They're a very important force of nature, but they won't stop consuming.
But you remember how they disrespected me?
They won't stop taking others' place. They'll keep consuming. Indra's seat, Agni's, they'll displace everyone because of their consuming. They're the Pingala Nadi. They're near the mouth of the serpent. They're near the mouth of Vasuki.
Oh!
Vasuki lets out the poison, just like the Pingala Nadi.
Couldn't agree more.
The Asuras are heavily linked with the Pingala Nadi. Do not disrespect
I don't know what the Pingala Nadi is
in every chariot of Sula monthly. Rakshasa. Because they're overly powerful.
I hear that. Yeah! That's what I'm saying, bro.
The Devas in this case are the Ida Nadi. Because all the Deva attributes, that cooling. You see, Agni will never take the seat of Indra. Vayu will never take the seat of Agni. The gods do not have
already has the seat
that kind of appetite. They stay and serve dharma. They serve dharma by staying in their station.
Especially you.
Ida Nadi knows everything is connected. And you can see this through strokes, actually. If the Ida Nadi side is functioning, a person will feel one with everything. If the Pingala Nadi side is functioning, they'll think they're always right.
Getting through on my do not disturb?
And they're very harsh. And it's very clear. The Devas are the Ida and the Rakshasas are the Pingala. And that proper respect for that force, it just doesn't know when to stop consuming.
Yeah.
So there is this with Karma Puran is all yogic. That's where you get Ishwar Gita from. The Gita of the Shaiva tradition is in Karma Puran.
It's like a
So if you guys think of anything more practical with this Karma thing, just keep thinking of it, because I'm definitely giving the Yoga Shastra portion.
Then I everything that I felt that was interesting here was that there is when you say the Hankund kind of thing, right? So like if you do the normal 3 mandala of Agni, then Indra, and then Soma kind of thing. So then they do say that there is a process where they'll say, finally you have to allow the, like apparently in deeper, when you do the internal yogic sadhana, when you do the internal yogic process kind of thing, internal havana.
There's no proof. I need to see the bills to prove that she's paying
for stuff. Finally asked the internal havana, of course, you have to consume everything.
And Shadamisha has been on my head.
The Ganapati,
someone's got to take responsibility. So it's responsibility for Shadamisha.
You have to sacrifice Ganapati himself to the havana with it.
Tano?
The same devata you are actually doing Aradhana for, you are doing the havan for. You have to sacrifice himself in the havan kund within is a real concept.
Make sure to watch this full video.
So it's very interesting because like it's not for Agni, right? So like I think the logic here is that here you have a Yajna here, and then you have the Ashwin Saraswati Indra called out. So it's like one way to capture 3 mandala here. But then finally you have to stop Agni, which is like a deepest thing within. So sort of like a self-sacrifice kind of thing going on, right? You have to sacrifice your ego, you have to sacrifice your mind, right? So definitely stop Agni. I think they were trying to...
my Venus.
They saw the Purodasha sacrificial cake which had taken the form of tortoise and was moving. So the tortoise was... They wanted to stop the movement of the tortoise. So it's like a conscious purifying thing, right? So actually the Shiva kind of tattva more by the thing, by offering whatever was moving or whatever Indra, whatever was being consumed through the faculty of Agni kind of maybe. And I think it was interesting because then the pure yogic thing, because that's the thing that made sense actually. Like when you had to do the sacrifice of the Devata, we are doing Aradhana for, and that separation is gone. The Devata thing is gone. All the attachment to the Devata is also gone. And finally you become that whatever is within yourself. That kind of thing.
She might have stole this weapon from this.
That's what came when you were sharing this Havankonda and Agni and all that.
It is something with that. It is something. You're onto something. Because when I was contemplating, because they always talk about the world turtle, right? Good. It's also we're in a oven, we're in a womb.
Sorry.
We're in a. I got about that. That is a oven as well. But they say they have the turtle of the universe, right? That whole something about sacrificing the support. And maybe when you said something about this ahamkar, because ahamkar is very pure too. These terminologies are taken and made tamasic. It's made very tamasic. Ahamkar doesn't only mean pride. That's silly. Abhiman is pride. So I always say this: ahamkar is just I exist basically. I am a human.
Hey, I like ahamkar.
I am a plant. It's just the I kara, the producer of aham. So this thick head. This shell that looks like a turtle. They compare it in some yoga tantras, the Kapalini. That is your own skull cap, because you're drinking the nectar that's coming down from. They're drinking out of the skull cap, and these tamasic people think, this is because these people are violent, and So anyway, this is profound for sure. Okay, so let's get to this Durga Suktam, which I really give credit to Ekaterina. She put it in the group, and she does a lot of her own studies. She has quite a few teachers that she studies with, and she brings
the guy with 1,000 plans.
These beautiful Sanskrit things to us. And very traditional. I tend to lean more towards Yoga Shastra, Yoga Tantra, and Agni is all through this. And what I did, I don't like ChatGPT, guys. I correct transliteration. I correct it all the time because I will use it for formatting and it will change my stuff, and I'll have to go back and say, this word is not this. And it will apologize. Never trust ChatGPT. I cannot emphasize that for students enough. So I did take this into ChatGPT and I double checked it. I did it because I uploaded Yoga Shastra with Agni. And then I uploaded the Durga Suktam. I said, can you just put it together as one? And it actually did a good job with that because, it's a technical task. Okay. So I did read all this. I checked it. So, of course, it has to announce yogic translation. Okay. All right. So here you're going to see when you start looking at this Durga Suktam through
I eat rendered meat.
Yoga Shastra, because we all know she's Bhujangi. It's said in the Tantras. It's said in all the mystical texts.
Hard punished.
The weapons of the gods The weapons of the gods is that sacred energy. Is that
Agni,
raw
Venus and
energy
Kurtika,
force. All those weapons, they go up the nadis and destroy the karmas. The karmas are stored in your nadis. She goes up the central channel, ugra, fierce, jwal. You know, you think of all these tantric mantras to her. She's always jwalini, flaming, blazing. And you want that to increase. Okay? Central channel is Agni. So it's an intimate relationship between the Tula Kundali or the Bhujangi Shakti, what people are calling Kundalini, and Agni, because it is the
subtle
your
difference.
Body is the hub and kund.
Logo
Not only do you have Jatara Agni in your stomach, Agni in your skin, Agni in your eyes, but you also have Indragni sitting in you, getting ready to be released. That's it. You can have a psychotic.
It's been like that for a while.
Please do not aim at provoking Kundalini unless it's natural, and you should go very slow. I am not I do not support people doing that carelessly.
Sorry.
These guys had character first. They went through it to a gurukul. They had control of their senses. They lived a very strict lifestyle, including no gossip. How many people say they don't gossip? If you gossip, you better think twice about practicing. Permitted it. They wouldn't have permitted the gossip. They wouldn't have permitted any of that kind of character that most of us are engaged in daily. So when we're provoking this sacred force, we have to hold ourselves accountable. Surya. We're going to look at that in some example charts. This nakshatra can be very dharmic.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. It can have big appetites in the lower sense. If the person's more tamasic and rajasic, it's going to have big sensual appetites. But in the spiritual sense, there's no one that tops this nakshatra. This nakshatra is very high.
Oh, how did I not hear?
So I just wanted to go through this, take screenshots, guys, because I have the whole Durga Suktam according to Yoga Shastra. So I just have it literally, Agni, the central channel. Imagine if you're doing puja to your own self.
That's usually how they
not
do it.
In a selfish way. This would prevent narcissism happening, actually. The more you awaken this, the more you become one with all. You'll never want to hurt anyone.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you won't be stern or you won't be sharp, because politeness is a hidden ego. Very commonly, these rishis were very direct. They didn't care about the hurting the superficial feelings. They cared about your welfare. They cared about your welfare. They didn't care about, how you wanted to be addressed. They cared about you. Like a stern mother or father, they might have said very intense things. But politeness is a mistake for spirituality. I'm not saying you can't be polite.
Write that down.
I'm saying that you shouldn't mistake it for a spiritual person.
Thank you.
Very commonly, that's a curated personality. Politeness is curated. It's a social grace. It is not necessarily natural. These guys became more natural. But when you're in their state, you have the welfare of all in your mind.
Yeah, Braden doesn't know me yet.
In your heart. When you see an animal suffering, you feel it. So you might scold a hunter. Don't hurt that. You're hurting me. You're hurting everything. Stop the violence. You might not be polite about it, but you will be in the side of dharma.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so focused awareness. You see all these keys in this. Okay, so I'm just going to scan through this. You guys be responsible for these screenshots if you're interested. Okay, I'm going to get to the last verse here. May we move along the divine path. This is both external and internal. Remove the obstacles. This is your Sushumna, is the right path. Your spine is straight. You're correct. And that goes into the external world too. So, of course, ChatGPT did its little summary here, and it didn't do a bad job there because I had uploaded the PDFs. Okay, so if you look, the Durgahani, the obstacles are karmic obstructions. Even your vasanas, all that stuff, all those imprints, all those sanskars from previous lives. You're asking her, Jwel, increase this luminosity, go up the channel, destroy this. Devour this so that I can go from mortal to immortal. This is the immortality. Okay? Now this Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu that we always hear, Navratri, this beautiful Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Trishna Rupena Samstita Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. This is such a beautiful, beautiful shloka. That Devi who resides within all beings as hunger. If you didn't have hunger, you wouldn't be propelled to do anything. Hunger is linked to willpower.
Rahu.
And we're going to see that in the charts when we get to examples. Willpower. Hunger, thirst. On a mundane level. On a mundane level is what keeps the body alive. But you hunger for all kinds of things. You're thirsty for all kinds of things. Knowledge. Independence. Freedom. Strength. All these things that people don't normally associate with desire are 100% connected to desire. This is why Agni has so much desire. And he's attracted to all these Shaktis.
Fudge.
So this Ya Devi is so special. I love this one. But I'll tell you, when you say it with all your heart to understand it. And all of these are karakas of Uma, of the moon. Moon's Pratyadi Devata, the one that frees you. Remember, the Adi Devata is the one that's for the Pitrus, to satisfy that debt. The Pratyadi Devata is the one that gets you free of the Graha's karmas. Parvati, Mom, frees you. She's freedom personified. She's the Shakti of Mahadev, the Lord of freedom. She's the Shakti of freedom. She frees you from needing dependency on all of this. All of those are karakas of the moon. And if not Bud, the son of the moon.
Ooh.
She frees you from dependency.
No, I'm hearing her.
Because she's only dependent on Mahadev. The Param Swarup. Param Atma Swarupa. Her dependency is on that which is fully independent. So this is all very important from a Shastra point of view. So I have some things here, again, screenshots, guys, because I can't read all this. All these Yoga Upanishads call Agni the Shishuna. I don't want anyone taking my word for it. I am just a little human being doing my own path with my small little problems. You know, I can't rescue or save anyone. I can only, love people as much as I can. Little tiny unit of a human being.
Heal?
Never take anyone
I hear you.
Find it yourself.
Where are your Virgo placements in?
I don't care how much you like the person. Okay, so this is all over. Ida Chandra, Pingala Surya, Shishuna Agni, all over. Okay? Now sometimes you'll see this as Saraswati being the central channel. They're referring sometimes to Saraswati River. But Saraswati carries the knowledge of who you really are. We mistake her for the goddess of information.
True.
Knowledge is in its baby stage as information. Information's not knowledge.
Yeah. True.
Witnessing is a more superior knowledge. Becoming that, or realizing what you really are. She carries the Brahma knowledge. The Nod. Her Vina is your Shishunati. So many people talk about this. So she returns you to that which you are. That's what the Shishuna Nadi does. That's what Agni does. All right. We have Kartikeya. And here we have this mouth.
Say bullets are going to spray.
He takes Shiva's seed within his mouth. Okay? Bear it.
What did he say?
Now this is yogic to me. People can just think they're telling the story this way, okay? They weren't repressed, guys. These guys weren't repressed.
Okay.
They weren't petty like us with politics and stuff.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just...
Everything in nature was there and they accepted it. There was a way of dharma, but dharma has more to do with that which does not displace through uncontrollable appetite of greed. That's what they were more focused on. Amasuras, it wasn't defined by their sexuality or their political preferences. Or come on, we've got to grow up. Nature has everything. Adharma was actually that which ate or takes too much than what its portion is. Its portion of bhagya. if you take more than your portion of bhagya, you are an asura.
That's not the only. That's not the. Hey, come on.
That was a
That's not the only requirement.
They knock Indra out of his seat.
They say any ambition.
Take. Vishnu doesn't care about them until
Rakshasa, they'll call you for ambition, sorry.
He loves them. When they cross the limit, he has to stop them because that's what interferes with dharma. Draupadi says, I renounce greed.
Does it count as a two-handed weapon?
She says this to Dhritarashtra when he offers things back to her. She only takes the Pandavas back. She won't take the kingdom or anything. And he says, why? She says, O king, I renounce greed. It is the destruction of dharma.
Nice, renounce it, do it. That's what I did.
She takes her husband's back.
You know
she
my
becomes their life raft. Because they know the injustice that was just done. They offer some things back. She says, adharma devours all things through greed. So we have to understand what dharma may be before we discuss it in a religious context because we have become tamasic. We were not clear like these guys. Yeah. So however they told stories was not very Christian or this or that. It was very natural. There's all kinds of stories in these old shastras. They're full of all kinds of things. So Agni, we even have Ila, right? A king who becomes a princess, a prince who becomes a princess, and Buddha is married to her. Anyway.
Super.
Agni takes this seed, and it's too hot for him. So on the Yoga Shastra side, we're going to see what that means. The birth of Kartikeya, this desired child. Kartikeya becomes a bit of a mystery here. He's a very desired child. Everyone desires him. Could Kritika be the favorite child or the desired child? Everyone's fighting over this child, Agni tries, can't hold the seed. Ganga can't hold the seed. Yeah. Okay? Eventually, it gets released into the reed forest. And everyone in the South will know this story because of, Kartikeya's names, Murugan's names, right? So this is an interesting thing to consider right here. Skanda literally means something that busts out. Okay? Yeah. So Agni, he's a mouth.
You hear that?
This is a very yogic story, in my opinion. And what is Murugan becomes the leader, the guru to them. All these people in the forest.
Is he not weak to lightning?
Isn't he considered he's like the eternal guru, right? You guys know a lot about Murugan? I've always loved him.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the, the Brahmanaspati, the lead. The Guru kind of form is usually with Murugan, actually. And all that. The Siddhas would worship Murugan, for instance. And they were like the ultimate gurus. They would maintain knowledge kind of thing. And of course, he's also supposed to be lover of those who study the Vedas kind of thing as well. So Murugan has a more Vedic kind of a thing going on. So apparently someone was telling how Murugan tried to break the tantra because that was not Vedic kind of thing. So he threw the tantras down, which Malchandanath got kind of thing, and she was sharing. But at the same time, he was someone who kept maintaining the Vedas, someone who loved Vedas and all that was being honored and all that. So yeah, Murugan is having the guru form anyway. And usually the veil, right? He's carrying the veil kind of thing. So that points to the guru kind of a tattva much more strongly as well. So interesting.
Right hand cloth is what I hear.
See the vision? Do you see the vision? Reed Forest, Saravana.
That kind of thing, actually. So Murugan
reed is a hollow.
Okay, most of the time when many Shakta Sampradayas also there are Murugan where they keep as the guru and all that. Guru Sankalpa is usually with Murugan also in many cases. Many cases they actually call on Murugan. The form of Murugan is usually considered to be a guru also. Like the 6 phase Murugan is usually considered to be a Guru Tattva kind of thing. So to embody the Guru Tattva kind of thing in that regard. So yeah, all that thing is there with Murugan without a doubt.
That is interesting. This is an interesting story to contemplate because Ganga could not hold it, which is usually in reference to the Ida Nadi. It's very common. It's going to be very deep. You have to contemplate it more. So Kartikeya is often associated with Kritika, and he's often associated, for whatever reason, he's with Agni, like Mangal. Any carrier of Agni they'll associate Kartikeya. And Ganapati has all the stories with the moon.
Usually Mars.
Cursing the moon, controlling the moon. Walking around his mother and father, which was more intelligent, it shows the intelligence of devotion, which is the Ida Nadi. Kartikeya does what in that story? Kartikeya takes logic,
Thank you for answering.
and he goes around the universe logically, which belongs to the Pingala Nadi. Anyway, it's something for students to contemplate, and they might see something very deep in that.
Write down the
okay, guys, so let's get some example charts, and if you have anything to add. Now we're getting into
consumption of the Indriyas.
Kritika is a nakshatra, and what it may do in human life, from the most base level to the higher level, because we're all at different stages of consciousness.
You used to be gone.
Okay, so we know the craving, the appetite, the consuming. I've talked about that in length, consuming of the Indriyas. It's said that Agni gives both bhukti and mukti. And that's true. Without the clean, clear functioning of the Indriyas, you can't consume anything. Okay, then reduction. He's also a reductionist. Fire reduces things to ash. This is the assimilation of nutrients. That goes into your mental comprehension as well, mental digestion. We're going to see a great saint, I have the chart up, that talks about the uselessness of information because it leads to and mentally digesting that which is valuable. What is the core essence? Agni is eating the core essence. Simplification of information. So leaving behind only what is most important. Leaves behind the reality. The reality of this body is ash. Starts with earth, returns to earth. That's the reality. Agni can't lie. He's going to reveal the truth.
Oh, that's what they said about Purva.
If the body dies, it tells you it's not the truth because the truth is immortal.
Oh, die or lie?
So Agni reveals the truth.
Oh, die consider.
Willpower. This is very important association with hunger and thirst. If you do not have that, you'll be the type blaming the planets all the time, paying these pundits for expensive rings. I warn people about that all the time. I hurt for people. I've seen people take $5,000 out of some account, more than that. I won't say the amount. They had it for their family, thinking that this ring is going to bring them more wealth.
Did it?
I'm going to step in here and say
it's a ring to them as well.
Because I care. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to go against any tradition. I'm not saying rings don't help somehow.
Okay.
But God, for God's sake, use discernment.
Where'd you go?
Okay. Let's look at some appetites, guys, and I'm going to debunk the Jupiter in the first as being appetite.
Sorry, I've never heard that.
Everyone uses Marlon Brando's chart to say that Jupiter in the first gave him the appetite. I'm going to show you evidence of what gives appetite. Agni.
Agni rock.
Mangal is the carrier of Agni Taka.
Hey, where's Agni?
He's got it in the second. Is that a coincidence? Everyone's looking at this Jupiter. Jupiter's a Kash Takwa. It doesn't consume anything.
I feel that, bro.
It's sound.
Well said.
Devanand has Jupiter in the Lagna and he was a skinny guy. I can debunk this. I can show you hundreds of charts with Jupiter in the first. Yet astrologers, Jyotishis keep going, Jupiter in the first, Jupiter in the first. Okay? We're told by the Rishis that Agni gives appetite. Okay, now he has this Venus in Kritika, and in his Venus Dasha, he became extremely famous. There's an iconic energy that comes along with the nakshatras of Surya and Surya himself. They can make you an icon. His first Dasha at birth, this Venus in Kritika, is in the second. Those that know the nakshatra technique, Nandita teaches this, by the way, that I introduced at the beginning. I've shown them numerous charts. I never have anyone blindly trust me. Numerous charts. He was born with that Venus in Kritika in the second. That was his first breath.
Good for him. Wait,
and Venus loves to be absorbed. So when you get a relationship with Venus in Agni, you can have a huge appetite.
Right.
And his Mangal is sitting in a Venus nakshatra. Don't miss that. It's a very simple thing. And he had an appetite for life. Marlon Brando, yes, he had a physical appetite for food, but that man, he had so many lovers. of every type. He had everything. He enjoyed everything. He had a big appetite for life. And he was so perfect with his skill sets. This perfection element I want you to pay attention to is Surya Nakshatras and Kritika. Discernment, perfection can turn into criticism. Critical could even come from the word Kritika. Okay, critics, people critique things because Surya has discernment. Surya is very like, let's take everything out that's unnecessary and get down to the essence.
Bro, like.
So he was a master at his skills. I mean, he's one of the ones that they had the AI copy all his expressions.
Can't really say.
Because he's so iconic.
Oh, Saturn? Yeah, we're Saturn.
He's so iconic. Okay.
There you are.
Let's debunk this Jupiter in the first, because Elvis had every bit of appetite that he did, that Marlon Brando. Elvis might have had even an equal, I mean, it was bad. His producers would say if drugs didn't kill him, food would have. He ate everything and constantly. And that's probably why he died. I mean, he died on the toilet, I believe, poor guy. You know, he was eating fried banana sandwiches with bacon and peanut butter and mayonnaise and stuff. He would eat a pound of bacon in the morning. What's in the second house? Agni Tatwa planet in a Venus nakshatra.
Okay. Oh, wait,
Agni is in the second. Surya.
What's he? Oh,
just
sun?
don't take my word. Look at where Venus is.
Yes, sun and
Venus is in a Surya nakshatra.
Oh no, Venus in Surya nakshatra.
Oh, I also have that. So no worries.
Do you have that?
Someone read that.
Do you have that? Oh, you have Venus in Surya conjunct. You do.
That's why I'm always eating.
Monster Venus. Assumptions are.
Look at Bill Clinton was known glutton. I mean, there were so many articles on him just loving Southern food, and Mangal is the carrier of Agni Tatwa, second house with Venus. So I'm just highlighting, guys, be very careful when you're analyzing someone's chart. Never say Jupiter in the first makes someone fat. That's untrue. I will show you skinny people with that.
Yeah, especially Kritika. Kritika is crazy.
Where's their Venus? What's going on in their charts? What's going on with Agni? All the Rishis tell us that Agni gives appetite. Now, Jupiter does love sweets, and he does have an appetite. It is said that he does like food.
Oh, he's waiting!
So I'm not saying it's not a contributing factor to the personality, to enjoy. Jupiter's happy. So he likes enjoyment. Jupiter is probably what you would say, he's the...
that's one.
What do you call it? There's the pessimist, optimist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he likes things that make him feel good. Okay, that I understand, but I'm just telling you to be an actual glutton. Okay? Now, if anything's in a Surya Nakshatra in the second, I don't care what planet it is. I don't even care if it's Shani. You will like food. If you have something in a Surya or Mangal Nakshatra, a lot of the time,
you do.
Food is a thing in the second house. If there's any presence of Agni, the person likes to consume. Now, I will tell you one thing, a secret with this is if it is Shani or a planet that deals with Roga, you do have to be very careful because Shani can deal with long-term side effects from that consuming. Shani can also do the opposite naturally, but I'm just saying, look out for Surya, the Agni Rashis, look out for the Agni Nakshatras, and look out for the relationship with Venus, whatever that may be, wherever Venus is, if it's in Agni Tatwa or something. The relationship between those two typically is what's giving these appetites. I have numerous charts. I wanted to show that because this is how Agni's working through hunger, just in the physical body. This is just a physical body example. But it's also, look at these guys, they had a love for life. They consumed everything. Bill Clinton's known for affairs. You know, all the sensual stuff. He liked beautiful ladies, okay?
Yeah, Brenda is also an Epstein file, right?
He what?
He's also an Epstein file.
Oh boy, I think a lot of those guys are. To be a politician. But yeah, he definitely, these guys have that element going on. I even think Trump has his Jupiter in a Mars nakshatra in the second. And he's known to eat all that McDonald's and stuff. So I'm just telling you, it's Agni that eats.
I work out though.
That's all I'm trying to get people to see, and that includes knowledge. Now, there's someone unexpected that had a huge appetite.
Do tell. Oh.
Paramahansa Ramakrishna.
What?
Eat plates of food at a time, but he would specifically love sweets. He would call out in the middle of his satsang sometimes, Gulab Jamun. Now, this has a deep meaning, though, to retain the Annamaya Kosha when you're in that kind of samadhi.
My honor is
to put the earth element into the Agni keeps the body alive. It keeps it going from you leaving the body. He would actually say this, I need it now. I need it now. I need the food now.
That's what I'm saying.
I think there's a famous story with Sharada Devi where she's like, you're the spiritual man. What is this thing with food?
Because Rahu came to her on his head.
In the second in a Mangal Nakshatra. I'm just saying, Surya in the second with a Mangal Nakshatra.
Surya in the second with a Mangal.
Okay. He also had Rahu and Kritika, so it's a good chart because he was born into Rahu Dasha, so that's his first breath is through Kritika. And he was extraordinarily discerning, as a matter of fact. This is his Atma Karaka. A lot of Avadutas have a Rahu Atma Karaka, many of them. But his was in Kritika, puts his Jupiter in the second. It wakes up that Jupiter in the second, too. And that Jupiter in the second is retrograde looking at that Rahu.
Oh, no.
Very, in this case, it turned out to be very spiritual. Second house is very important from the first breath, the Dashapati from the first breath. So retrograde planets are looking behind them, right? So that Jupiter's looking at the Atma Karaka. But he was born into this Dasha. Surya Nakshatra. Shani was awake too at his birth, stimulated, because he was born into Rahu Dasha. So all those planets sitting in Rahu Nakshatras, he has a Rahu Nadi trine. This is a beautiful chart to study, actually. Okay, let's get to Kritika that is not an overeater. Look at Shani is in the second, and it's in a Mangal Nakshatra.
Sure.
It's in Mangal. But you know what? He spent a lot of time talking about diet.
Yeah.
In his holy science, he fully researched what a human being should eat. So I'm telling you, a second house has something to do with that. But he was a yogi. He was a yogi. Now, I want you to notice about him, I have his Surya Lagna because no one has his birth time. This is Sri Yukteswar Giri. This was Paramahansa Yogananda's guru. And he is an absolute example of a good Surya Lagna. Why? Because he personifies willpower. Constantly he was talking about this. He was very singular. Whenever someone has that independence, their Surya Lagna tends to be very accurate. I just covered that with Kapilji. So he's functioning out of the Surya. Look at how many grahas in Aries. This is definitely his right birthday. And Surya is not going to move all day. I checked it. He might move a little bit. So depending on what time he was born, we can't depend that he definitely had Shadabhishaka moon. It went into Dhanishta very early in the morning. So he could either have Dhanishta moon, but that doesn't matter. We're just looking at Surya here. We're looking at Kritika. So his Surya Lagna is going to start from Kritika Nakshatra. Look at this beautiful saying here. Do not confuse understanding with larger vocabulary.
Yeah.
Sacred writings are beneficial in stimulating desire, here's that Agni, for inward realization. One stanza at a time is slowly assimilated. These are all Agni language. Slow digestion. Continual intellectual study results in vanity. See what he's doing right there? He's simplifying the complicated ego that has this big appetite for all this stuff that's unnecessary. And the false satisfaction of an undigested knowledge. Undigested knowledge. He's speaking like Agni. This quote is his Surya. He is speaking to you like Agni himself. It is one of the most beautiful examples I've seen. He also had willful death. His willpower was such, and his mastery of the pranas. They call Surya Praneshwar, the master of the pranas. He had mastery of the pranas. He left his body with yogic control. This is a very famous picture of Yogananda Ji with his beloved master.
Oh no, I rank.
So you'll see this. Look at this indomitable will. Look at this this statement.
Oh!
Lagna is so powerful. Even when the flesh is weak, because Surya always loves strength, the mind should be constantly resistant. If temptation assails you with cruel force, overcome it by impersonal analysis, discernment, and indomitable will.
Not you. Third.
Okay? Now, he also attribute called Agni. Agni is the fire of time, is also called an Agni.
Oh.
He even had a unique view on the yugas that we see here. I don't know if you guys know that. But his view on the yugas was very different. He had the ascending and descending yugas. I'm not here to debate that or say it's accurate or not. I'm just saying that he was focused on it. So he had a whole thing with the ascending and descending yugas. Very interesting.
I think he also had one micro yoga within the macro yoga thing as well.
He does, like a big Kali Yuga, but then you have all the micro yugas.
Everything in the future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort.
Correct. Because think about like if you were born at the time of Henry VIII, it was awful. The Dark Ages were awful. I mean, that seems like a pit of the Kali Yuga.
Dark pit.
Where we might be in a ascending, but that doesn't mean we're people are interpreting that as going into Satya. No, it'd still be the major Kali Yuga with an ascending portion of it.
Yeah, just like you have Mahadasha and Antardasha, the various planets, you have the Maha, Kali Yuga, and then you have the Antar Yuga, Dwapara. I think we are right now in the Dwapara Yuga phase, if I'm mistaken. Micro Dwapara Yuga, Antar Dwapara Yuga.
I think that's what he said, yeah. Yeah, so it's very unique what he did with that. It's very bright, very, very intelligent. I mean, so this is a good example of Surya's intelligence, a good example of Kritika's intelligence. It's a very interesting thing. So I wanted to give him as an example because we're so used with the Kritika examples with affairs and all this, and it's just like, no, guys, that's just because of the appetite. You know what I mean? So if the person's got a rajasic mind, then all these desires are going to tempt them left and right, and they're going to have a lot of ambition for those desires. But you also get people governed by sattva guna under Kritika, tama guna. You get people governed beyond the gunas, people avadutas beyond the gunas. So we need to account for all the manifestations of Kritika. Right? So, okay, guys, that's pretty much all I have. I wanted to hear from you guys if there was anything.
I just want to start with the yogic side of this. And then we will go into the side. I will also go into many themes related to this nakshatra, which has never been discussed in the past. Probably you'll not find this in any Kritika video that we have done or anybody has done. Let's start with now. The first thing that I made a note of is Kritika nakshatra, in my opinion, after doing a lot of contemplation on this, is a portal. When I say a portal, all nakshatras are portals. But this is a dimensional portal which combines with Sun and Jupiter's nakshatras. Let me explain this. And then, of course, when I finish my discussion, we can throw the floor open. I'll give you even the genesis of this nakshatra.
Sorry.
The first thing I wanted to make is look at the importance of all the Tripada nakshatras or Tri Pushkara nakshatra. Tri Pushkara means three padas of Sun and Jupiter's nakshatras fall in the consecutive rashis, which means all Sun's nakshatras, first pada falls in one sign, and usually it is a fire sign. Remember that. A fire sign and Sun's nakshatra first pada falling into fire sign. And very interestingly, the fourth pada of Jupiter's sign goes into fire. Can you understand what I'm trying to say?
Not really.
You're talking about Gandantas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go to the crux of the thing now. Look at the animal yoni of Kritika, which is a female goat. Look at all the yonis of Jupiter's nakshatra. They are all predators, which means Vishaka nakshatra. male tiger.
Oh, you're right. Oh, okay. Female tiger.
Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, male lion.
Right. The Nishta, female.
Punarvasu Nakshatra, a female cat. They're all from the cat family.
Yeah, exactly.
But Kritika is a goat, which is usually the tiger, lion, they're all. So it is a herbivore, and you find a carnivore in all the Jupiter's nakshatra. Interesting, isn't it?
Always.
And do you know there is a correlation with Kritika and Vishaka when it comes to understanding? That means Kritika and Vishaka are both said to have connection with Kartikeya. Now, if you really understand the birth of Kartikeya, which is the esoteric side of thing, is Kartikeya is an elemental birth. How do I say it's an elemental birth? As per the Puranas, 6 sparks emanated, white sparks. That's why we call it white spark is like a white flames, which emanated from the Tejas, the transformative energy of Rudra. Rudra is the element of Vayu Tattva.
Okay, I hear that.
So
thank you.
And Parvati
but Vata
couldn't do anything with it, and they needed a carrier, which is ugly. So from Vayu, who is the predominant Vayu, is Rudra.
Yeah.
Because he is all about the forces, devastation forces, tornadoes,
Hades,
hurricanes,
tempest, Hades. The
diamonds you see the Vayu Tattva, which can bring and devastate the storms, because he's the lord of the storms. So Vayu Tattva. And we needed a carrier.
Rudra.
Agni. Now he's not able to, he's a carrier. But we needed a gestational medium. The gestational medium is the Ida Nadi, which is Ganga. So Agni, who is the carrier of the Vayu's element, passing on to from the Pingala Nadi going to the Ida Nadi, which is Ganga. This is a gestational medium. Now when she said, I cannot handle this, she passes it on again to the Saravana, which means the reeds. So basically it is like Vayu in a mode of going through Anuloma Viloma, which means you're going through the left nostril, going to the right nostril, again going through the left nostril. And then you see from earth element, which is reeds, it goes to the 6 nourishing mothers, which is Kritikas. Again it goes from the Pingala Nadi to the Ida Nadi. So are you seeing the importance of Kritikas? The 6 mothers are the 6 wives of the Saptarishis. They are the ether element. So we started with Rudra, Vayu Tattva, carrier being Agni, fire element, going to Ganga, water element, going to the reeds, earth element, then going back to the ether to nourish the 6 Kritikas. Because what are the 6 Kritikas? These are the 6 sisters. They are part of the 7 sisters, but one sister has gone to Abhijit Nakshatra. Who is that? That is Arundhati. The 6 sisters are the Saptarishi wives who nourished
all 6 of them.
Because they are cursed.
All 6 of them. Oh wow, that's ball knowledge. Holy crap!
Because of Agni.
I didn't even know that. They is the man.
So are you seeing something? What I'm building here? A storyline.
I just wanted to mention this is beautiful. So this forest of reeds, Dr. Paiji, which may not be online or something like that. I just want to tell students. Usually when there's a forest, it means numerous. So it sounds like Agni actually went to all the nadis.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Because the reed of forest, it sounds like, that Kartikeya went through all the nadis. But when you said that, I went, that's what that is. So he's going back and forth, and there's the purification of all the nadis. That's what the forest of reeds are. Krishna's flute. It's always associated with Sushumna Nadi. So they'll always go back to Ida Pingala Sushumna, but there's all these nadis. There's 2,000 in some books. There's in other books. We're full of these rivers.
From what you are saying also, you can see the 6 syllables. 6 sparks became 6 children. So he's called Shanmuga.
I thought it was 7.
God, because he was unified by Parvati finally. So he was 6 bodies, later on became one body with 6 heads.
Oh.
So a symbol is also called as the 6-pointed star, which is called a Shatakona. Shatakona means the 6-pointed star. So that is the 6 mothers. Now, going deeper into this concept, because what people are understanding is not only made from the 5 elements, but here the 6 mothers, and that would also mean the 6 chakras that he has been nourished by. Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, Manipura chakra,
I forget the name.
Anahata chakra, Vishuddhi chakra.
I know Ajna's third eye. Muladhara, is that root?
Ma Anusurya, who is Atri's wife, is Agnya chakra. Because she is the one who unified even the Trinity together. Isn't it? So they are the nurses. So now I'm going a little more deeper. Now look at this whole concept of Kartikeya. Kartikeya finally becomes, in the yogic parlance, he is the Sushumna Nadi. And he is Shakti. He's married to Ichha Shakti.
Whoa, this is a new topic.
Ichha Shakti is Shri Valli, who is a mortal from the earth, and his Kriya Shakti is Devayani, who is Indra's daughter from the heavens.
Whoa, I didn't even know that. I forgot.
Shri Valli is like his Ida Nadi, and from the heavens, which is Devayani, is his Pingala Nadi, and he is the Shishumna Nadi. He is the Jnana Shakti, and he is joined by Ichha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. So that means that whole partnership is bringing the heavens and the earth together.
That's what I'm saying.
Why he is the unification.
Yeah, and his daughter is a huge right.
So now we can also draw a parallel with the Kartikeya, who is bringing the Jnana Shakti to us through Ichha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. But do you also know that's the same function of Agni? Agni also has 2 concepts. One is to deliver the benevolence and the offerings to the heavens, and the other is to deliver the benevolence and the offerings to afterlife world. One is the life.
My twin numb's about to be a little bit better.
And the one is the nether world, which we say afterlife. So the 2 concepts of Agni, who is again becomes the Jnana Shakti in between, and his Pingala Nadi, which is his right nostril, is Swaha. This concept.
I didn't even know that.
So whenever we are offering in a yajna, we offer ahutis or we give offerings, oblations.
What's his left nostril?
We say Swaha. Om Agne Swaha. Om Suryaya Swaha. So Swaha is taking everything that is offered to him to the heavens. And then we have an afterlife, which is Pitra Loka. Deva Loka, Pitra Loka. So Pitra Loka, his other concept, which is Zira Nadi, is Swadha. Swadha Sahita Pitrubhyo Namah. To the Pitru world, it is not Swaha. Swaha cannot take the offerings to that world. It is Swadha, his other wife. So are you seeing? They are connecting afterlife with the heavens. The same thing. Kartikeya is connecting heavens through Devayani, and Valli, who is a mortal who is born on the earth.
Sacrificial altar.
To a tribal chief. Anyway, now I want to go further down to say these portals, Sun and Jupiter's nakshatra. These are portals. Usually we talk about transporting yourself from one time frame to another time frame. And everybody has been wondering how we can do that.
Quantum.
In the nakshatra realm, there are 3 nakshatras. That is what you also spoken about in your examples. Mars's nakshatras are Dvipada nakshatras. Again, they are connecting 2 rashis. Sun's nakshatras are Tripada nakshatras. They are connecting 2 rashis. Jupiter's nakshatras are Tripada nakshatras. They are connecting 2 rashis. But there is a correlation you will see with Jupiter and Sun. They work together. And Mars is their runner boy, who's the fire boy who takes certain messages and he runs around with them.
Mercurial.
So he is the manifestation in the earth. That's why we see Kartika is connected to Mars. Hanumanji on the earth, who's Chiranjeevi, is connected to Mars. Are you understanding?
Not really, but I'm honestly trying to be.
So that's why this is the
dragon
portal. Sun's nakshatra, the first father. People who know how to enter that dimension there, when the moon is transiting, can come out in the fourth pada.
You got my ass, bro.
Vishaka nakshatra.
Yeah.
From Kritika first, fourth pada.
I agree with the first one.
From Uttara Falguni first
Go ahead and scatter.
pada, you can come out in Purva Bhadrapada fourth pada. That is a dimensional shift. That means in space, you can enter in this portal and you can come out somewhere else, in a different realm.
Okay, my 20.
You're not understanding what I'm trying to say. See, if I give you much more clues, I'll give you more clues, because this is not something that, it is my whims and fancies that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Kritika nakshatra. Agni is the ruler. Do you know what is very significant about Agni in comparison to many other devatas?
Yeah, he's a unique. His unique position. Or what? Good.
Agni has two heads.
Right, exactly. You can eat meat.
One head has 4 tongues.
Vegetarian and
the other head has 3 tongues.
Did you be a hypocrite?
Think about this iconographic thing. 2 heads. One head is facing towards the heavens. The other head is facing towards the earth.
Okay.
The head which is facing towards the earth has 4 tongues. The 4 tongues are the 4 varnas: Kshatriya, Brahmana, Shudra, and Vaishya.
Wow.
That means any oblation is given by one of these varnas. Is the other head is the transportation to the other realm, which is the heavens, with the 3 tongues. What is the 3 tongues? Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and their attendants, which means other devatas who report into them. Or the Rudraganas, Vishnus, like we have the Lok. And Vijay. So these are the kind of people they distributed to. Mm-hmm. He has 7 arms.
7
It's not very simple to have only 7 arms that is depicted with. Because Surya has 7 horses. Each of the 7 horses are the representation of the 7 chandas. You know what is the chandas? It's the poetic meter.
Poetic meter?
Gayatri, Anustub, Prahati, Ankti, Jagati. So 7 horses are 7. So Agni and the 7 arms is the 7 poetic meters. But
it's all blasted 6 scale, man.
Why 3? Because Agni represents the triangle. The 3 legs will form the position he's sitting is not Padmasana. He's sitting like his legs, 3 legs are folded in the form of a triangle.
Why does he do that?
And he's sitting on a ram, which is 1 leg, not 4-legged.
What?
And who is that 1-legged ram?
Ajay Kapad.
Ajay Ekapada.
Let's go.
He's sitting on a Rudra. So Purva Bhadrapada's deity, which is Ajay Ekapada, is the Vahana of Agni.
Yes. Oh, bro, you're spitting so much facts.
Kritika and Purva Bhadrapada are also linked that way. Kritika and Vishaka are also linked because Vishaka is the birth star of Subramanya and Kritika is where he was nourished during his birth, which is the 6 mothers. Punarvasu is linked with Uttarashada.
Yes. 14 from?
Punarvasu is Aditi, the mother. Uttarashada is the Vishwadevas. All
Daksha.
Devatas have emerged from Aditi. Again, we are seeing a Jupiter nakshatra and a Sun's nakshatra.
So Appas, where are we going, Ganga?
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
That means we are all... Now I'm coming to the next layer of it. The next layer is in Mahabharata. There is a reference to the appearance of the first personification of a weapon ever created in the Hindu epics. The first weapon. Do you know what is the first weapon?
It's not
we call it astras. Everybody thinks about a bow like Brahmastra was. No, it was never that. The first primordial celestial weapon that was created in the Hindu epics, the name of that is called as Asi. Which means a sword.
Ross?
The sword was born on Kritika Nakshatra. Its Gotra is called as Rohi.
You miscalculated.
This is not what I'm saying. You should go and read about Asi, ASI. Asi is the sword. That is why Kritika is given the blade, the sword, the dagger, the sharp one.
Little Dr.
Because Asi was born. It was thousands of years of Brahmas. You know, he was. The rishis had gone to Brahma and said the Danavas and the Asuras are being very powerful.
Yeah, really.
So he said, let us do a deep meditation. So he went into Dhyan for 1,000 years.
1,000 years? That's all it will take?
The Asi, the sword. And he gave the first sword to Bhairava. So the first Bhairava of the Ashtanga Bhairavas, the Ashta Bhairavas, the 8 Bhairavas, was the first Bhairava was called Asi Tanga Bhairava. He has a sword in his hand.
Oh, where are you connected? How are you going to connect?
His vehicle is the swan. His consort is Brahmi, which is Saraswati. That means that is the genesis, because Brahma is the creator of that sword. He gifted it to. And this sword has gone from Brahma to Shiva to Vishnu to Marichi to finally, you know, you can see it in Wikipedia. You can read about this in Wikipedia. See. Finally went to Bharadwaja, Rishi. From Bharadwaja to Bharadwaja, the son Drona. Drona, that's why in Mahabharata was said to be unconquerable. Nobody can win over him because he had the Asi, the sword.
You need the images from the video. Make sure you're here.
I'm understanding something. So they were very fearful. If not for Krishna knowing this secret, he would not be able to. Drona was invincible. Finally, this sword has, you know, fight after Drona, because he was killed by Kapat, which means he said Ashwatthama is dead, which was not Ashwatthama. It was the elephant who died. They said Ashwatthama Hatoteya, which means Hatha, which means elephant is dead, is what Yudhishthira declared. He put his arms down.
KRS channel.
Otherwise, it's impossible to defeat her. So now are you understanding what I
subscribe? Do it. It's an
it is the fourth pada of.
I'm telling you what to do. Deal with it.
The sword represents whoever is there. The sword is there with anybody. They become invincible.
In this campaign.
After Drona's death, it went to Kripacharya. From Kripacharya, it went to Nakula because he was the best swordsman. Finally, it went to many hands. And every generation of Arjuna's lineage finally had this sword with them. Including the Solar dynasty, which is Raghukul. Raghu had it. And the Solar dynasty had it, which is Rama's lineage had it. That's why they were invincible. Janmajaya, Parikshita, all of them had this sword, Asi, with them. That was the secret of their invincibility.
Oh! Sorry. The punch will not know that was going on.
Now I'll tell you something more. This sword also, because it was there in this lineage, this dynasty became very powerful. But there was also another dynasty which was created by Agni. See, everybody talks about Surya Vamshis, which means a lineage from sun. Chandra Vamshis, lineage from Chandra. Have you ever heard this called Agni Vamshi? Agni Kula? In India, the Rajputs considered themselves to be, and there is a history behind it. And who?
Why is he so close to him? He won't have a lance.
There is a history behind it, is Vashishta Rishi.
Okay.
Rishi Vashishta had 2 times his cow Kamadhenu being taken away from him. The first time was a great king called as Kartavirya Arjuna.
Okay.
That was with Jamadagni, not with Vashishta. But it was given to Vashishta by Indra. But he had given it to Jamadagni for safekeeping. From there it was abducted by Kartavirya Arjuna. Next it was abducted by the son of Ghadi, who is Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra, let's go!
When Vishwamitra abducted the cow, the wish-granting cow, it is said that Vishwamitra's wife, she cried so much because she loved that cow so much that her vastra.
Come on, man!
When Vashishta Rishi saw that, he created a yagna with his mantras, from which a huge lean figure came out, and he said, I am Agni's son. Tell me what I can do.
I can charge it.
How many of you know today, Agni Vamshis, you will find that their surnames, which are the 4 clans which have come from this, and they claim that they have Parmars. Their surnames still Solankis, Chalukyas, and Chavan. Prithvi Raj Chavan, who is the great king of the Rajputa, is Agni Vamshi.
Where are you at?
Now, do you see how Agni's thing has been there? Even Agni Vamshis were worshippers of.
Oh, bro. Cheater.
As a female deity as well.
Oh, he cheats.
She was also worshipped as.
He must not be a specialist, bro.
How many of you know in Tantra Sadhana, the Tithi Devi,
Never seen that move.
Malini, she is for the Chaturdashi Tithi. She governs the Chaturdashi Tithi. On which day Rudra was born? Shiva was born on Chaturdashi Tithi, Krishna Chaturdashi. That's why every month we celebrate Shivaratri on Chaturdashi Krishna. And who governs that? It is the female deity Jwala Malini. Jwala Malini, if you see, she has 6 heads, 12 arms. Just like Kartikeya, who has 6 heads, 12 arms.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll hear it on the way back. So. I'm rewatching.
What about Zoroastrians?
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
They're not worshippers of the fire god, but fire is the purification because they feel that fire is the transporter of their main god, Ahura Master.
Oh, nice honor, dude. Come on, man.
Isn't it?
I'll take your word.
Have anybody other than who is a Zoroastrian can get permission to visit their temples? No.
Oh,
you have to be a Parsi or a Zoroastrian to enter their temples. Otherwise, they don't have, because that is purification. They consider the fire. They don't consider the fire as God, but they consider the fire as the element of the ultimate God, who is Ahura Mazda, as their representative. Just like how we take Yadana and we transport our offering. So the Agni is used the same way.
Oh, the sword. This is the greatest.
Isn't it? Now I'm giving you one more hint. Have you ever heard about Kritika Nakshatra being associated with Parashurama? Nobody will think about it. But I'm saying Parashurama has Kritika Nakshatra. It's not because of his Parashu. But you know when is Parashurama Jayanti celebrated? It is the same day as Akshaya Tritiya.
Oh, I did not mean to do that.
When it is Akshaya Tritiya, the same day as Parashurama Jayanti, which means he was born on that day. What does it mean?
Lack of care.
Sun will be somewhere in Ashwini Nakshatra, and moon has to be in Tritiya Tithi, means 36 degrees. So sun is exalted, moon is exalted.
If I take my picture.
And moon has to be in Kritika Nakshatra. So that is his Parashu, that is his axe.
Oops, I didn't do what I was going to do.
So Parashurama also has. Now I'm coming to some more thing very, 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 very prominent. If Rama was born in Punarvasu Nakshatra, Vedas Nakshatra, he was Suryavamshi. Krishna was born in Rohini Nakshatra, which is Chandravamshi. If anybody was interested in the depth of nakshatras, I'll give you one clue. Rohini Nakshatra second pada is a Pushkara Navamsha pada and a Vargottama pada.
Oh, didn't even know that though.
Which is Krishna's birth.
Hey, that well. Okay, what Navamsha pada isn't Krishna?
Rama's pada is Punarvasu Nakshatra fourth pada, which is also Pushkara Navamsha as well as a Vargottama pada.
Yeah, tell me something special.
Right? So, Rama.
There you go.
And there is only one which has the same thing, Pushkara Navamsha as well as Vargottama pada, is Uttarashadha. He is also Pushkara Navamsha as well as the Vargottama.
As soon as his mimicry is gonna die.
Would that mean the next avatar of Kalki who is coming riding on a horse with wielding a sword? Is that
now I get all my charts out,
which is born in Kritika Nakshatra? That he becomes the invincible one?
Yeah. I should have done something. Yeah.
There is something only future we will get to know. Kalki avatar. And who is going to give him that sword? If you go to Wikipedia, see the sword today is waiting to go to Ashwatthama.
What? How did that not do anything? You see that?
After it has gone to many generations, Ashwatthama. Do you know Ashwatthama has been cursed to remain on here as a Chiranjeevi till Kalki Avatar comes. And for Kalki Avatar, they say Parashurama is going to be his guru in Shastra, which means giving him the warrior instructions and training is Parashurama. And who is going to accompany him in his avatara is Ashwatthama. So Ashwatthama is the actual one who is waiting from the curse of Krishna to liberate. He's waiting for that. He's coming here because he has the right to own the great soul of a sea.
I hear that.
And he is going to one who's going to give it or gift it away to Kalki Avatar.
How about the charge?
This is not what I'm saying. Go to Kalki Purana. Read this. This is very specifically given. There is also a movie in Bollywood which is called this movie Kalki. In which Amitabh Bachchan has become.
Okay, come on.
Go and watch that movie. He's waiting for incarnation of Kalki Avatar. And where is Kalki? As per many traditions of Buddhism, Hinduism, all Jainism, everybody believes there is a land, which is a sacred land. We call it Shambhala. The Tibetans call it Shangri-La. Where is that land?
Atlantis.
Of Shangri-La. Including many dictators like even Hitler has sent many people to find that sacred land of Shangri-La or Shambhala. They're still not found. It is well guarded. They say somewhere in the Himalayan regions, wherever it is. Nobody knows where it is.
Bali, let's get it.
It's something which is well protected. That is where Kalki Avatar is going to take.
What y'all know about Indonesia?
That's what it's been given.
What you know about your moon? Let's go.
Right?
Let's go, Lake
all
Jeff.
of this is building us to that. Anyway, these were some of my thoughts that I wanted to share. I don't know if there is anything that you wanted to add to this. Like symbolically, they have a sword, which is their secret. It could be something which has come from your ancestors. It could be a heirloom which has come to you. It could be a ring. That's why you say Lord of the Rings. What Lord of the Rings? It's the power. When I was growing up, there used to be a cartoon. In India, we didn't have cartoon. The Hitman, and he had a sword. How many of you have heard of He-Man, not Hitman?
Oh, He-Man. Yeah.
And his not Hitman, He-Man.
Assassin. And he'd be cowardly at first, and then
yes, but the power of the universe. The power of the universe. He lifts his sword. He-Man and the power of the universe. He lifts his sword. The same thing. A seed. He gets the power. I don't know.
The sword is a very Dr. Paiti, this is opening up a whole other, because there's a lot of stories around the sacred sword. Like if you even go to like Avalon with all those the stories around King Arthur. Remember, it's a sword that the Lady of the Lake gives and says whoever pulls this sword from the stone is the king. It's a lie. You were in Ireland. You're more Irish than me.
I did that for 5 years of my life.
And actually, that land's considered very sacred. They have shivlings. A lot of people from India have been going there to pay respect to the
in South America. Don't forget Tara.
The name of the place is Tara. And they have shivlings. This is a big story. And the Celtic myths is always with a sword.
I forgot about that, though.
What about Vikings?
Yeah, shout out. Yeah,
it's the king that has the sword.
Sword in the Vikings.
Yeah, it's
the gold author.
In a lot of traditions too.
Gold sword
of discernment, meaning divine knowledge cuts through. A king used to have to be very knowledgeable, very noble. It was not anyone. So that's why this little boy Arthur just accidentally pulls the sword out. All these strong men are trying. They can't pull it out. They're getting humiliated. All the knights are coming, and this little boy, he's like a servant to his dad. He's not even a knight. He just comes and he takes. And Merlin, the wizard, he's like a Western Murushi. He sees him and that's the boy.
E.g. when people used to go for war, do you know there was a tilak which was given as called as Raj Tilak, or it was also called as the sword used to be there and the blood used to be used as
the tilak. Yes.
Yeah, Vijay Tilak.
Actually, there was some that would just hold it and cut, and then yes.
So that means blood is also associated with the.
That's tough.
This is that element of, once again, Rakta Dhatu is Mongol.
Rakta Dhatu.
Is that hot? Is the Agni element,
Agni, absolutely. Do you know there is a tradition of fighters in Nepal, they're called as Gorkhas. Have you heard of that? They are the fiercest fighters in the world. They were there even in the British Army. In terms of close combat, there was nobody who could beat the Gorkhas. And the Gorkhas have a tradition. They had something called as a dagger, which is called as kukri.
Yeah.
If they had to remove the kukri from the shield, there has to be blood, which means either you have to kill somebody, or if they have to put it back, they usually cut themselves.
Mars. Okay.
Because the blood has to come onto that. Because
Knife.
the kukri cannot be removed for any other purposes but to either defend, protect, and the blood has to be there.
Okay, this
is the rule of the Gorkhas.
The made the blood price. In all of
exactly,
the blood price. That you're giving your own blood, typically. It's got.
So that's why be very careful. This is the nakshatra of power, and that's why people use this for tantra also by giving their own blood for getting power.
There is also the star of Algol, correct? Yes. You remember?
Yes.
Very disruptive and.
Oh yeah. Who was that? Somebody had that. I forgot.
Perseus.
I was talking crap about my mom in my head.
The Dahmer guy? Oh, yeah, the Dahmer.
Oh, yes, Jeffrey Dahmer is
the serial
Yikes. Very.
This alcohol is supposed to have been associated even if you see. Do you know, because I've lived in the United Kingdom. Do you know many of the castles in the United Kingdom are haunted? They are known for their ghosts. Because many kings and many people were beheaded there. Beheading is associated with alcohol.
Yeah, the Arabic system of astrology, that's a very violent star. Mongols are carrier of
I don't know what is the English word. Is it called the gluten? And that is like a blade which just you put your head and then
guillotine.
Kritika Nakshatra first pada is guillotine. Why? Ram. The head of the ram.
Off with the head. That was a big thing in the United Kingdom. I wonder if that area of the world has something to do with Kritika, because they even had the thing with the sacrificial king. So when the old king was going to go, he would actually let himself be, I believe, beheaded. It was willing, so that the new king would take over. There were some traditions like this where it was a sacrificial king.
Do you know that they have something called as a disease of the queen, which means I don't know the English word. If you have blood, the bleeding doesn't stop. What is that disease called?
It's called the Mahajin.
I know that. I'm really bad.
And you can die because of.
The Mahajin can't die.
Hemophilia.
Hemophilia.
Yeah.
So they all have hemophilia.
Oh, they're inbred. That's
and hemoglobin. Is blood, which is iron in the blood. The sword is iron. The curse of the iron. Hemophilia. Which means if you have a cut, you can bleed to death if you are not. Exactly. And this is still running in the royal blood of United Kingdom. Today's monarchs are also, and that's why they have a rule. Do you know one thing? Whenever they have to travel, they all travel by different aircrafts, which means King Charles travels in a different aircraft, and then the Queen was there, she would travel by different aircraft. Because they wanted to protect. What happens if suddenly there was a crash, a burn, and the entire clan perishes?
I got plenty of
so the crown prince,
blinker check mine.
The crown prince and the queen will never travel on the same aircraft because of they have it in their blood. It was there with the Queen Mother, Queen Victoria.
That's why I'm leaving. Still 2 hours left.
This is a defect of Kritika Nakshatra. Autoimmune diseases. Kritika Nakshatra.
Just messing around. I'm not even trying to get hit.
I'm not saying if you have Kritika, then you all have autoimmune disease.
Right. No, but I understand what you're saying. Surya does have something to do with the immune system, so vitality. He's a roga karka. So if there's any affliction to that, it turns to roga. And autoimmune is very serious.
Yeah. You want me to believe that? I bet that would make the plot way easier to make it hard for me.
Look at this new thing I told you about the sword, which is Asi. I can actually share.
Oh, he can.
I asked for it.
I think it happened. Double click.
It'd be great if Tano believed in this downscale.
Yeah, I think it's coming through. Yeah, now we can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, here is Asi. This is from Wikipedia. Asi appears as a personification of the first weapon ever created according to Hindu epics. Asi means the sword.
Oh, yeah.
A legend concerning Asi appears in Shanti Parva, book of Mahabharata.
By the way.
In Rigvedic Sanskrit, Asi is still used as the term for a kind of a sacrificial dagger or knife.
Havan, sacrifice. All of this is back to the sacrifice principle.
Yeah. So you can see, the creation of Asi. The Devas
Shravan as the first nakshatra.
Brahma, ancient times, and protested against unjust rule. You can read this and find of the wielders of Astra. So Brahma gave it the sword to Shiva. Then it was actually to restore dharma, righteousness. Shiva assumes that, and finally, he gave the sword to Vishnu. Vishnu gave it to Marichi. Marichi gave it to Manu.
Same
Manu
sword, yeah,
is
Mars.
the human clan. Okay, who's our forefather?
Correct. What?
The son of Surya, Manu. Then see Ishwaku dynasty, the lineage of Ramachandra. So you can see Kuru, Bharata, Dushyanta, Raghu, who's also a Surya dynasty king, Yadus, and finally it went to Bharadwaja. From Bharadwaja it went to Drona. Drona obtained the sword. Drona used this weapon in the famous Kurukshetra war, described in the epic Mahabharata. Drona became unconquerable in the Kurukshetra war.
You miscalculated.
Because he held Asi, the primordial weapon. After the death of Drona, the sword was taken by Kripacharya. Kripacharya gifted the sword to Nakula because he was a swordsman. And Nakula's swords went to Parikshit, who was Arjuna's and Abhimanyu's son, then to Janmajaya. And finally, what is it saying? Asi, the sword, again went back to Kripacharya for safekeeping until the return of the rightful owner, who is Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama?
Ashwatthama will go to Kripacharya, who is again a Chiranjeevi, which means he is immortal. Kripacharya is Chiranjeevi, Hanuman is Chiranjeevi, Vedavyas is Chiranjeevi, Vibhishana is Chiranjeevi. You see, he is immortal.
So, my mom might kick me out.
Kalki Avatar comes. When Kalki Avatar comes, Ashwatthama will go to Kripacharya. It was kept with safekeeping for you. Once he gets that, he is going to give it to Kalki. And Kalki will be trained by Parashurama.
Yeah, it says that Parashurama is coming back with Kalki.
That's cool.
Yes, he's here. I mean, or he's
here.
Yeah.
He really is?
Hey, he lives in Mahendragiri, right?
Yes.
Oh, he one-shot my enemy tier like
so
that?
That means they're all waiting for that Kalki Avatar incarnation. Everybody is waiting for that. Can you imagine? Parashurama is waiting, Ashwatthama is waiting, Vibhishana is waiting.
And interestingly, where Mahendragiri is, it is near to the temple of Himachal.
Okay, Andhra Pradesh.
No, Himachal is Visakhapatnam, Vijayanagaram.
I'm not old enough
Again, the
to
word
not get punished by Saturn.
The Shakapatnam.
There is a temple for Subramanya, Skanda. It goes under water during certain things, and then certain times the temple is high tide, the water just covers this temple. On the bank of this temple, this city. Don't think Visakhapatnam was just a name which was given. It has a connection with Kartikeya.
Lot of Kartikeya themes, mass themes, and and moreover, I also come from the same region, so we also are basically Agnikul. They call Agnikul.
That means you're Agnivamshi. You're Agnikul.
Agnikul Kshatriyas. Yeah, Agnikul Kshatriyas. That's what they call.
What is Agnikul?
Agnikul. Agnivamshi.
Oh, okay.
So we are called as Agnikul Kshatriyas.
Guys, you notice, this is interesting. I just have to say, because every time this happens with us unintentionally, we started off with this whole thing with birth.
Well, at that point, why don't they just
and the baby. And now you're talking about a divine incarnation. A special child. There has to be something but that in Kritika.
Kartikeya is a special child.
Yes.
What do you think about Kalki?
Has to be.
Nobody knows which nakshatra is going to assume, but we are assuming. That is, see, if Rohini nakshatra second pada is Pushkara Navamsha as well as Vargottama pada. Punarvasu nakshatra fourth pada, Pushkara Navamsha, Vargottama pada.
Yeah.
The only other nakshatra which has both these is Uttarashada.
Really?
First pada, which is also Pushkara Navamsha as well as
Uttarashada pada 1.
Which is Sagittarius sign.
Oh. Wait.
Are you seeing I'm saying something that you have to... I can't explain to you unless you experience that
I've been tropical.
Of a state where you are staying.
I'm sick of not being
Surya's nakshatra, the first pada is a portal to a different dimension.
This is brought to you by T-Mobile. T wants to be mobile.
Fifth dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimension. It can take you into a different dimension and you come out like an astral traveler can go through this dimension and portal and come out through Vishaka fourth pada. See one important point that I want to make. The second pada of Kritika is the exaltation of Chandra, And Vishaka Nakshatra, fourth pada, is a debilitation of Chandra. Chandra means what? Mind. If you know the mind, you can see these portals and you can go. It's like shape shifting, going through. And that's why these portals are also, which is used by Sandeep's favorite topic, aliens, spacecrafts,
That's it, team. Where's the aliens?
Yeah. Radagon
restorating, right? I'm pretty sure that you're right.
Don't get hit by blasted music. It's not optimal.
I just got this really strong point here where the stars, the taras, there is mention of using their light to travel with light.
Shout out Jaws.
They were considered portals. It's just we don't use that word in Sanskrit.
Yes.
A star is a portal. Project Bluebeam into you.
A lot of what you're saying, Dr. Heidi, I've just been listening.
Look at you.
And now we have so many communities.
Are you transporting yourself to another universe where you can find a virtual self of yourself there?
Well, this is important. But this is really important.
Insider
Our technology is so perfect, we do not need external technology to do this.
Let's go back to travel.
Vashishta, all these guys, Parashurama was time traveling. Without
Narada?
Yes.
Johnny Garg.
External tech, we're being tricked.
Guys, watch The Time Traveler's Wife. I have Ardra. I don't have to.
Actually, they stop you.
You're right.
We only need ourselves. You are being tricked. You better be very careful. People used to.
That means there is no concept of time if you really think in quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
That's what I'm saying. You know the moon's always retrograde.
Shastra? They say that one fully with that clean, time goes. Your instrument is perfect. You do not need anyone or anything else for that kind of thing. And these guys were using the stars. The stars are sacred. There's something else. We don't understand it because we think in terms of all this external space. Think about this. If something is dispersed, it's weak. If something is condensed and solidified, it is very powerful. Like if you split an atom, it's a bomb. But if it's just dispersed air, it's weak. If you condense your consciousness inward, you are unstoppable. This Kritika Nakshatra is bringing this out. It must be a very powerful nakshatra. As you're talking,
that's why
this is, yeah, it's yeah.
If you think about it, AG, goats were given a sacrificial.
Yes, they took the place of the sacrificial king, actually.
Yeah. And later on, initially it was human sacrifice. Have you heard of Narabali?
Yeah.
Oh, anybody who reads the Mahabharata, you have missed this. If you do not know, Krishna had asked for a Narabali to win. Do you know this concept? Read about it.
I know a lot of it. I do not talk about this because there are some things that are extraordinarily.
But do you know who became the Narabali?
Say this. Sorry.
The Narabali was accepted to be a human sacrifice, which Krishna wanted. So the indication. If you have win, I volunteer tribute. Shakuni and Duryodhana had done some extremely black magic on the Pandavas, and they have been doing many times. So Krishna said, "Is there no way we can do?" So they said, "Sorry, we have to give an Narabali in case we are making."
Guys, how do you emote?
Narabali was given by Arjuna's son from Pulupi, who is a Naga kingdom. And his name was Iravan. Iravan agreed with Krishna that I want to be an Narabali for
it had to be willing.
The victory.
It had to be
willing.
That got perverted.
Said yes.
That got
but Krishna said, "But why you? Why are you on?" He said, "This is for my family, for which I'm ready to be." Krishna, as a goodwill, said, "Is there any last wish you have? Tomorrow is your Narabali." He said, "I'm unmarried.
Yes, he can't talk.
I would like to get married before I die. That is my last wish."
What I'm saying.
Krishna was worried. How will I get a bride for him and get married to him? Which woman will marry a man who's going to die tomorrow?
Persephone.
Krishna then took the form of a woman like the Mohini avatar and married Iravan.
How many times?
And symbolically, after he was given as a human sacrifice, Krishna is supposed to have wept like a how a woman will cry when her husband passes away? Because Krishna had to do that. Because Krishna knows no woman would be ready to get married to a man who would be sacrificed the next day.
Makes a lot of sense.
Read about these chapters. That means we are trying to...
Oh, nice.
This was given...
W, yes!
Oh, wow. Power used to be. You go to Mexico. Do you know?
Yes.
Human heart and Narabali were given in the sun temples.
It became perverted because it became against people's will, or they became...
Exactly. It was then they catch hold of slaves. Watch this movie by Mel Gibson, Apocalypto, in which they take a Narabali. But then the slaves are asked to run in the field and they are throwing things so that they can capture them and then take them to be a human sacrifice.
Can I say something, Dr. Paiji? Because this topic is so... I've read all of this.
If you want to just edit this part, that's fine.
No. I
keep it on my arm. It's the thing.
Do you know cannibalism?
I do know. I read.
Who is the cannibal? Do you know who performed cannibalism? On Dushan.
Oh!
There's also other stories. There's some other stories too. And this is why you get great avadutas.
Sahadeva has also done cannibalism.
Sahadev, yeah. Well, but Krishna stopped him from eating the brain. Krishna stopped him.
Sahadeva.
Oh,
Damn turn from the tree.
Krishna had to say, look, you have to speak in riddles because you are going to mess up everything. You cannot...
He knew the outcome of the Mahabharata war. That's why he has to speak in riddles.
We see death. Let me say this. This is really what I want to say. We see death as this horrific thing.
Speak for yourself.
We have a real problem with death. See, Bharani is a nakshatra before Kritika. We have a real problem with understanding that this form is not the end. And we have a medical system now that just keeps us alive even when we're suffering. Like this is going to be the end of you. These people had a different understanding, so there was willing, not a body. There was willing. It was considered honorable. It was honorable. Yeah, and it actually blood is a price. It's so all of this stuff is there. People go and preach these scriptures and they talk about purity and they have no idea what's really in these shastras.
I hear you.
I think
even in the Egyptian things, is it not a feather with a soul is being measured?
Yeah, weighed. The heart is weighed against
the heart is weighed.
Anubis.
Again, the same thing.
Dude, Chanta took it from
the weighing, and Anubis would have to bring the soul in, and soul would write down the deeds, and the soul had to be lighter than the feather, actually.
Exactly.
The underworld kind of thing, higher world kind of thing, and world after death, and all that. That's the concept, actually. Yeah.
So this is the junction between Bharani and Kritika. Life and death.
Bottom four game.
Yes, and this is why they themselves. They don't want to get involved. See, if you're in a political situation, this is what's really different. This is why you look at Brihaspati and Shukracharya. They had to make all these hard decisions. Like Shukracharya said, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. But when you want to be out of the state of a deva, if you want to leave behind deva and go further, you have to sacrifice violence.
Oh, of course.
Unfortunately, Sri Krishna was caught in the world of Kshatriyas. The world of Kshatriyas is very violent. It's heroic.
Yeah, you were talking
it's heroic, but it's very violent. So Rishi was eating themselves. Like that's why Vyasa was so wasted away. And he told his mother, look, I've been living off of roots under a tree. Let me rebuild my reproductive fluid. Let me eat ghee and milk and honey. Let me rebuild my reproductive tissue before I get these princesses pregnant.
Because I see the meat is Kritika Nakshatra is meat. You have seen many places where
I don't know how to put that in Sanskrit. It is mamsa.
And it's all. And what is Jupiter? Fat, which is ghee.
He's a fat, yeah.
Exactly. So people who like steak and eat a lot of meat, greasy stuff with meat, Kritika.
It's ugly.
Just to say one thing, doesn't mean that you have to do Narabali. Does not mean that.
That's what I'm saying. That is not what I want to be doing.
Yeah, we are different time, different era, different people. If you are Rishi level, all great.
That's why I'm saying so careful with this knowledge because it's become so tamasic and so selfish You have a whole trend of witches on TikTok that I found out about recently.
Wow.
Cursing or like putting spells on their boyfriend. I'm just like, do they understand what happens with Yamraj?
They must.
Like, do they understand what happens?
Just to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You remember
No.
Navagraha Kavacham, and you said once, where does Rahu reside in Navagraha Kavacham?
It's this chakra. Yeah, the tongue. To protect the tongue. He is that chakra, actually.
Okay, now do you understand? Look at the English word, spelling. It is a spell.
Like shadow wizard.
It's a spell. It's
whatever you say from your thing is a spell.
The same
You're saying spelling.
Reproductive in your genitals is actually in your mouth and your wells. Because it is a reproductive place. And so you're misusing love.
I did not answer my question.
When you do all these selfish things, like I have to be, I guess it's the Surya thing, but I just have to be really straight with this. People should not be playing. They do not understand the consequences. You do not play with
I had a client, EG, whose son is in the spell. Second house Rahu.
Of course.
In the chart.
You can't
Excellent spelling.
Because I'm doing
He's done of Mantri. He's a done. Yeah.
In a way, EG, I really wish you know
TikTok upscale exact.
Swarbanu was having the Amrit.
Of course.
It's not that
Mars and Saturn are TikTok.
he wanted Swar. See again, Swar, Bhanu.
A ray of light.
Vibrations.
Yeah.
A ray of light.
Right.
So he was a very knowledgeable, very extremely brilliant.
Really, bro?
Asura.
I think Rahu is very special, and the reason why people have to tamasically vilify him is he is so ardakayam mahaviryam. You know, he's powerful. He's not, you know, the sun and moon get cursed for exposing that. The two honest, sun and moon, they get cursed for seeing what they should not have seen.
Is that why probably he exalts in Taurus somewhere?
Free will is
Kritika
asymptotic.
Sun and moon's nakshatra.
That is, you know, Kritika the cut.
Nice.
Because everyone argues over
Kritika is the cut.
Kritika is the cut, and he is this chakra, the mouth.
How many is that?
He comes as a big head in these serials I watch. I always watch those Hindi serials. They're great. I mean, the old ones are really great because they actually follow the Purans. And so, but Rahu is always coming in as a big head.
Oh, that's not base.
The mouth, his mouth is really dangerous. Whatever he speaks, people hear it. Martin Luther King has Rahu conjunct his Atmakarka in a second. Look at his speeches.
Really?
Have you listened to Martin Luther King?
Oh, Barney Pada 2 Statu.
It's not Jupiter.
Sun and Barney Pada 2?
It's Rahu. Rahu is conjunct Mangal in the second. Martin,
very fiery.
But actually, they're very calm. But they're very hypnotic. They're beautiful. There's been no Martin Luther King. Since him, there's been no one that speaks like that. It was so eloquent. It would bring everyone together. That's why those are dangerous. That's why they get assassinated. I wonder about this thing with the Danavs and Asuras sometimes because, look, whoever loses gets vilified.
I hear that.
The victor writes history.
Yeah, guys, is Dragon Lord Placid Dusax the villain, or am I?
So you have to think when all these very powerful people that are speaking truth have a Rahu like that in the second, or somewhere that's very... Ramakrishna Paramahansa is a Rahu Atmakarka. So many Avadutas.
Wait a minute. Astroseek says...
The first thing when
does his moon Atmakarka with extra steps?
Get as much knowledge as you can from Ravana immediately.
Knowledge.
Was
Ravana a liar? Ravana was not a liar.
I think my Rahu's exalted good.
Scholar.
He was actually
Vedic scholar, everything, astronomy, astrology.
I know you are.
Anything you talk about, any subject, he was a great scholar.
He was absolutely.
And a great administrator.
Yes, he was. Dr. Paiti, I think you said this years back in a Paiti video, and you taught me. You've taught me a lot of things, but you taught me this. You said that Ravan gave Ram the date to defeat him because he was the most qualified.
Yes, and also
that is not a liar.
Even when he had to consecrate the Rameshwar Shivalinga and he couldn't find any priest, he invited Ravana to come and do the puja.
That tells you these people were.
Because he was a great Agama scholar, Pandit.
Sorrow.
You see how petty we are now with politics?
Yes.
We are not like these people. These people had nobility.
So if you ever get this book, it's a novel, it's a fiction.
Nobility to be a bull.
Which is written, but beautiful. I think it's called the Asura. Aditya, can you Google it? The Asura, the Ravana story.
And Santip ji, you got to tell us about Kritika. Togi ji, you got to tell us some more about Kritika.
Yeah, I'll just wait for Togi and Dr. Pai because a lot of beautiful points have come. So I'm just waiting. A lot of things are stimulated.
Every part is the best part. That's so overpowering.
Patiently waiting, actually. But yeah, Aditya will be great.
No, I'm done. But Aditya, is that a novel? It's a book called The Ravana.
The Ravana?
The Tale of Your Vanquish. This is a beautiful book. It's a fiction. But please read this book.
Yo, okay, I'm gonna read this.
Beautifully written by this guy, Anand Neelakanta.
Vanquish series. Yeah.
Published in 2012. And this is something I want to tell all the viewers. Are you ever aware there was a rishi called us who became a crow, Kakabusundi?
His name is Odin.
Kakabusundi has said there were 16 different endings for the Ramayana and 21 different outcomes for Mahabharata. We are only reading the popular one. That means he has seen the same Ramayana 16 times with different characters, different role play, different outcomes.
What's the point of doing it?
The same Mahabharata with 21 different outcomes. We are only thinking there is only one outcome because every decision can lead to a different outcome. Every choice can lead to a different outcome.
Unique to this.
So Kakabusundi is the only one who has seen all the outcomes of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Don't think Ramayana has been told only once. Otherwise, when Hanuman goes down, when Yama comes, the ring of Rama drops and he goes there to the Patala Loka. And he says to Vasuki, where is Rama's ring? It has fallen here. He says it's in the next room. Now when he goes there, he sees a pile of those rings lying there. Every ring looks the same like Rama's ring. And he says, which is Rama's ring? So Vasuki laughs and he says, which Rama are you talking about? There are hundreds of Hanumans like you have come here looking for Rama's ring. Which Hanuman are you? And which Rama from which yuga are you talking about? Or which planetary plane he has come from? Because there are thousands of such rings. This is a reality.
How much we don't know. Dr. Paiji, this gets me into something that could be fun for the listeners.
It smells like Hawaii.
The whole conspiracy world, the missing scientists right now. Did you know what all of them, or many of them, were discussing, even open on their social media?
You're talking about nuclear scientists and aerospace scientists who are just disappearing right now?
Yes. Many
NASA scientists disappearing.
Yes.
Nuclear scientists disappearing.
But wait,
very strange circumstances.
You know what some of them were discussing? Ultra-terrestrial. Ultra-terrestrial.
I don't know whether it was something or something has sent that as a forward. They are saying that the ultra-terrestrial have actually changed the codes of the nuclear code that we have. That means we cannot use the nuclear. I don't know.
This is the funny thing. But these are solid scientists. Okay, these are
just
solid
Mars.
scientists
just Mars
talking about the supernatural. I just want the listeners to hear that. Your logic will fail you because it is a very limited form of intelligence that we have been imprisoned in. As long as you keep that form of intelligence at the front, most of your intelligence is wasted. We do not know what we do not know. And these people are very grounded people talking about the supernatural. Not even aliens, okay? They're flatly talking about the supernatural. And so I won't say too much about that. It's funny that all this is coming out in Kritika, like portals and but
Kritika means critical.
Critical, yes. Real knowledge starts at I don't know. Real knowledge is not, this is the only way. That is ignorance. Real knowledge comes at I don't know. I don't even know what I don't know. A jnani has to say that.
Wait, what? You don't know what you don't know? Okay, foul on the play.
Am I the Stula Sharira? Am I the Sukshma Sharira? Am I the Kara Sharira? What am I? What is this? We don't know. We're given external answers all the time. We don't know. Knowledge starts at I don't.
I was
know.
trying to get out of there. Honestly.
I don't know. I have to see.
That's
the
rollback.
I was very zapped by this kind of thing which I have just read very recently. Did you know Earth didn't have the moon maybe a few billion years ago?
Yeah, I hear
Because
that.
of which, do you know if the moon now is regulating the speed of the Earth has slowed down to 365 days. If the moon, the Earth would have seen a year of 1,000 days.
Let's divide them up.
Is this correct, Aditya?
I
What
don't
if
know
the
what-
moon is
what-
not there?
No, there would have been chaos. It would not have been stable. The orbits would not have been stable. And that's true.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that means the kind of way that we see the equation between the sun, earth, and the moon.
As much as actually one of my favorite
as though
shots
it is artificially being placed by an intelligent civilization maybe a billion years ago. Because if you look at the
honorary
equation,
Venus in
exact
isolation.
108 moons can fit in between
Venus
Earth
in her
and the
tower
moon.
shot, sir.
Exactly 108 suns can fit in between the earth and the sun.
That is crazy.
Everything.
Exactly means the precision is 99%.
Everything.
That cannot be.
But I
Now,
know
if
that.
that is not the case, Aditya, you tell me, you couldn't have had eclipses.
Yeah, astronomical units.
The side of the moon have to be exactly going to eclipse, and you have
It's a
full
gold
total
statistic.
lunar
Guys.
eclipse,
This is financial
lunar
advice.
eclipse.
Subscribe.
If that distance is not.
On
If it
YouTube, on
moves
YouTube.
a little bit ahead, then we will not have total solar
Subscribe on
eclipse.
YouTube at Tyno
Yeah, definitely, because the moon size will be changing
See?
from us and it won't cover the sun's
Confirmation.
disk. And that's what is happening because they say because of the tides, the moon is going few centimeters away from us. So after many, many years, after billions of years, probably you may not get the full eclipse. So that's going to happen.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And Rahu Ketu, you know, what's happening to Rahu Ketu point then? No eclipses,
Then
no full eclipses.
this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Is this whole thing that we experience life has been created here as an experiment by some intelligent civilization races?
Was
Or
it NT or inload? I didn't pay attention.
I don't know. But it is not possible to have exactly moon at that distance and create all of this astronomically.
We are the
Precise.
sacrifice. We are in a yajna. We are in a Havan.
Yes, we are an
We are
experiment.
the sacrifice.
That's one of my favorite words, actually.
And the way that
I don't even know what I don't know, but I love that. Yeah.
great failed experiment.
Maybe.
We are going to prove that.
We'll see what this is.
My
Yeah.
honor.
What is the supreme consciousness looking us and thinking about us?
They must be thinking you're fools.
Maybe it might not be.
But I don't want to use that word. But I, if you really think,
Guys, no one said that in my chat. What's
humans are a very advanced race. We have potential.
Where's Bruno at? Bruno should spawn infinite eyes.
95% of the human brain is still not tapped, which means our potential is still dormant.
Something may be aware that the human instrument is extraordinarily
The sun, the sun,
and
the sun.
something may be
The son
aware
or
to
the
keep
daughter?
them stupid.
Exactly.
Shiva.
Because the humans were worshipped.
Well, my tray.
You have to understand, there's many shastras that say you got this precious human
Dark.
birth.
I get dark fire.
Yes.
Okay, to that, this is what I was trying to hint to, that people should not be deceived that they need all these external things. It's very important for people to understand right now that the internal is the power.
I couldn't agree more.
And the more externalized we get, the more we start thinking weak and stupid and animals, we will become that. We are not
Flash of the
original.
Titans, come on.
So there is.
Otherwise, why would Apsaras and Devatas want to come and be born on Earth? If it was
Mrityu Loka simultaneously
That's basic.
Moksha Bhumi. So why do even the
I can't wait to watch
Gandharvas,
this back.
Devas, why
Yakshas, Devas, Apsaras,
they consult Rishis who are human?
Oh, are you sure?
We have had our power taken.
Ooh,
I
Aquarius.
am certain.
Humans.
Okay.
Whoa.
This I'm certain of. That is not a conspiracy. You are made to think you're an animal. And people play into
Wait,
it.
Ardra.
People play into
All
it.
these cities, guys, I'm balling.
You will?
if the Earth's life is about 4.5 billion years, that is what I think.
You think Bali didn't have
That's what
injured
they
card?
said.
Aditya, you believe that it is 4.5 billion? If that is what is established,
What that science says so far.
Even Robin has injured card.
2,000, 3,000 years of history in 4.5 billion years.
Nothing.
What is the percentage, Aditya? Tell me if it is, you're talking about
Means 1 million, 1 million, 10^00001%.
That's what I'm saying. See, I'm talking about. So, could have happened if pyramids were built 4,500 years ago, and that some technology was there. Even 1,000 years ago, if you see our Indian temples, South Indian temples, and other temples in India, you would be really not knowing what kind of drill bits they had, what kind of equipment they had. They could create that thing. Today, we cannot do that with even knowing the greatest technology. So somewhere we are thinking that 1,000, 2,000 year history is great. For this earth, it's nothing.
Nothing, dude. It goes so deep.
So
I see it.
2,200 years and oh.
What kind of age requires?
If you're talking about real history, talk about 12,000, 25,000 years, 30,000, 50,000 years.
Good,
There's a limit.
And that is history for the earth.
There's a limit. There's a limit to stula indriyas, what the physical senses can sense or experience. We don't even understand time because of that.
That's what I'm saying.
So the whole thing is...
Even you can be shown.
It's very mysterious.
You don't want to be shown.
In physics.
I want to ask, because you're all interested also, we have come together as, we are interested in astrology. I'm going to ask you.
I know what I know. That's the scary part about Sagittarius.
Today, if I die, will my chart also die, or my chart is still alive? Even after my death?
Good question.
Which means physical body is dead. It means Lagna is no longer important. But is it not the universe that is always
Voyager 1 and 2.
Can you really kill the universe because your chart is nothing but the universe? So if you are saying I die, but from my chart you should be able to see the future and the past of me, because I am not Arjun. I want to be here. I was there in the past. I will be there in the future, like all of us. So how is your chart going to die?
I don't think sound dies.
Never.
Exactly.
I don't think
because
so.
Everything is a vibration. Everything is a frequency. And everything is all we're catching is, between this time to this time, this is my vibrational frequency that was felt. But after me or before me, there was always this vibration. What makes you think that the planets are going to die? My chart.
Try something.
Or anybody's chart.
We've plenty of time.
This discussion I asked
Yumdy.
in one of my classes to my students. Let's take the example of Indira Gandhi. If Indira Gandhi is dead, that does mean that her future generations cannot be seen from her chart.
Not necessarily. Never. You can see everything from the chart.
Incarnation cannot be seen from the chart.
You can see everything from
because
the chart.
The chart is a universal thing. Planets are continuously moving.
I have a question about that, though, Dr. Paiji. Let's talk about the imperceivable part and let's talk about the logical part. So let's take Mongol and Auslesha.
You say Venus
and it's indicating something. How many people are going to have that? You can't do it logically, but now sadhana drishti, the sukshma indriyas, should be able to see that through the graha. But there's no logical way to see, because Sanchita can't be in a chart. It's parabdha.
Okay.
Right? And even Sanchita has an end when memory goes.
Write that down.
Memory has to go.
I don't know what that means. Write it down.
The D1 which is going.
Right, but even if you go to the finest amsha, you're going to have other people with the exact same thing. This is where logic
exactly.
And something.
Those infinite beings with your exact birth chart.
There was a yogi. I told this in one of our past hiking. The yogi who said, "Watch out, that Mongol is not in."
Yeah. I remember that because that yogi said he went for a siesta and he said the Mongol is not in actually what you are seeing, but he has actually mood signs.
Yes.
Because when you see something is at that border, you think it is there, but the drishti is somewhere else.
So I do believe someone with drishti could see that, but not logic. It would be impossible. Too many of us will have the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why I said that. Jyotish is not logic.
It's not.
If you really think about it.
No, it's a powerful point. That's why I wanted to highlight that. It's a powerful point because with the right drishti, it's so funny, Surya topics. All this stars must be something. Surya's our Tara.
You gotta see how he fights without the twin.
Kritika, we haven't mentioned much the Pallades.
On me, bro.
It is you guys probably mentioned it in your first video. I cut my head off and ran. But there's something very mysterious about that part of the sky. A lot of people A lot of tribal people say they come from the Kritikas.
Pleiadians, correct? That's what
The Dene, who people call the Navajo, the Dene say they come from Kritikas. They call it a different name, but they say they came from there.
Sorry, not you.
So,
not you. Don't do Dragon Ball.
Once again,
A lot of Shaivite Sampradayas also believe the starting point of humanity, the seeding happened in Kritikas and all that. So apparently the source came from Kritika. I think Dr. Pai mentioned one of the old posts also, like the source came through Kritika kind of thing.
I hear that.
And was a commander in general in that particular army. He travels interplanetary travel and all that, pretty normal. That so there's a lot of customization that happens in Kritika to Pleiades. And of course you find modern alien, a lot of Pleiadian people think is there, a lot of Pleiadians are there, people who channel Pleiades, all that kind of thing is there.
what do they say about this?
You tell me.
Yeah.
Sandeep, just tell me, which body parts for the Anga Kritika is associated with?
I'm not sure. I think it's feet. It's usually my note.
Okay.
Actually, if Kritika is the first, this is your part.
Brahmarandra is Bharani.
Brahmarandra.
But actually, this back here, this chakra is definitely linked to.
Okay, this chakra. Is it not? This is the first part of your body which is exposed to the when you're birthing. Is it not the head comes from the crown? The crown. Yes, usually. So that means Kritika is exposed first. That's why it's the first nakshatra in one way.
Kritika, because they would pull the baby out from. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, do you know why? Because of which?
My teeth hurts.
If you see priests in India, they have a tuft of hair here.
Yeah.
That is called Shiki. That is your Lagna. That is a rains.
He has not been Venmoing me every day, but I've been brushing and flossing every day.
Agni, now I'm under your control.
That's true because it's not on the Brahmarandra. It's not right here. It's back. It's back here.
It's back here.
Sarga. It's in the middle of the Sarga area.
Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when people, the Mughals used to catch hold of such, they used to first cut off the scalp here.
Okay, that's
because after that.
Wait, the hair or you said scalp. Right?
Because this is the point. If you go straight down here and go straight from here, the intersection point is your pineal gland.
Yeah. This is where Brahma stamps the fate. That's why that drishti on the forehead is really important, actually, to see the fate. Brahma stamps this. Brahma, the pineal gland. And when we get to Rohini, I have a lot to say about the glands. Brahma stamps the forehead of the baby. And this is the fate.
That's why
I'll give you that Taurus again.
You will never taunt your head till your father and mother are alive. Because till your father and mother are alive, the sun and the moon are on the earth plane. And father and mother go, you taunt your head so that the sunlight and the moonlight come and now protect your crown.
Tauruses.
Till your parents are alive, you will not taunt your head. Have you seen any Hindu who goes and taunts his head when his parents are alive? You are not allowed to do that. Because your physiological sun and moon are here on the earth. But when they die on I think it is the 10th day or 11th day is when they actually taunt your head. Then you are exposing your Sahasrara Chakra fully to the moonlight and to the sunlight.
It's once again that yeah.
Exactly. That's why you see the young Buddhist monks taunt their head because they become sannyasis.
Issue skill, please.
No mother.
Please, Aquarius, please.
Now your father and your mother. You are not belonging to the gotra of your father. From here on, when you taunt your head, you are the gotra of your guru.
No, you can go ahead, Sandeep.
I have a lot to share.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Wait.
Yeah. So one thing it was interesting was that of course moon gets exalted in Kritika Nakshatra, right? So it's interesting because moon is also a family.
Thoroughly,
moon is also interestingly it depends upon the light of the sun also, and moon can go bright and moon can go dark. So it's a very interesting thing. So this potential for Kritika Nakshatra to be both bright and dark is very high. That's the first thing I want to share. Of course, moon getting exalted, the bright thing is more prominent, but the moon getting debilitated is opposite to same Vishaka Nakshatra, so that potential is also there. So very interesting because you find the attachment to family. That's the calming reason why many people are eating. I want to see my grandchild grow, I want to see my children grow, all that. So quite often that family lineage thing is a big calming thing and real reason why many people are even I have to fulfill this dharmic duty to the family. I have paid this family, all that drama, all that thing is very high. So it's a big thing here in Kritika. This is where this attachment to family can come. It's kind of fascinating here also. This is where
Mercury and Raven caught a 4 in mine a lot.
Ravana thing was interesting because Ravana, the story of Ravana being a Dravidan was used by some Tamil political parties to like promote their, regionalism and Tamil Nadu India and all that. Of course, I mean, you find Ayodhya Rama's temple is there all the way to southern India and Kerala and all that. You have Ramayana being celebrated when someone enters into cancer, or you read the entire Ramayana. So it's like, why are you doing that? Unless the culture was uniform at one point. Right? So this kind of thing was very interesting. So Ravana, there was one interesting, very interesting arguments for Ravana in that particular way. But of course, the political party people are telling he was a Dravida and he was an Asura, he was being vilified, things like that.
Yeah,
the fact doesn't mean Ravana, if you look at this version of Ramayana, Ravana did rape his brother's wife, raped multiple women. He did create a lot of violence acts. And Yogi explained that he had to take an avatar because he had crossed what is called Malyada, the social norms, like a functional society kind of thing. Now, interesting thing, Yogi basically was mentioning in one of his interviews, actually, in one of his talks. He mentioned about the thing about Ravana, how he had to be killed, and someone in the audience asked, was it right of Ravana to be killed and all that? So then he said, are you selling rapists is okay to live? Similar, that's coming down.
Just a point, Santip, because you brought this up, then I'll forget it. Yeah. Ravana was also gifted a sword by Shiva. What is the name of the sword called?
Mahavajra.
Which means Chandrahasa means laughing moon sword.
Yeah.
And moon is exalted in Kritika Nakshatra.
Yeah, that's a good point. Great. So it's a good thing. So so that's the other aspect. So Yogi was actually the guy who asked this question in the audience. The Yogi asked, so if your brother raped a woman, would you defend your brother or would you...
Come on, I clipped it. I clipped that.
Clearly he said, the Yogi said, you will be defending your brother because you are attached to your family. Said, you have like this attachment to family, go against them. So in Mahabharata, famously, the Pandavas were completely decimating their Kauravas were their blood siblings actually, their cousins actually. So there was always an upholding dharma. That kind of principle was pretty much the norm in Puranas kind of thing. So dharma had a very important role.
Yeah,
so dharma was the harmony of everyone, which we feel captured. Like when you get to that particular state, harmony of everyone, it's the norm for the rishis and all that. So that kind of state was kind of there. So Ravana being, and now interesting thing about Ravana was also that, okay, such a man who committed great sinful deeds, like what is called as sinful deeds, papa kind of deeds, and no matter what, he destroyed thing, he abducted thing. What would be the explanation for that? He was, in fact...
Yeah, so this was on PC, I would have been smacked.
Ravana was considered to be a great bhakta because after his death, Ravana has now become a great bhakta of... and he is being celebrated as a great devotee. In fact, there are actual paramparas where they actually worship Ravana as a great guru in the Rama parampara and all that. So it's like an evolution of that energy, which was like originally like not so great, creating disharmony kind of thing, to even something superior, inspiring other kind of greatness in others kind of thing, which is what makes it, very interesting kind of thing to see that transition from like what was evil originally before, or then eventually you are seeing something else happening in the big grand scheme of things. Even Rama himself was originally a Dwarapalaka also. Someone who was taking care of Vishnu, like literally came down and reincarnated so that he could get closer to Vishnu. So that provided the opportunity for Vishnu to come forth and Rama to as Rama avatar and then fulfill all of the karma. So it's a mixed thing. What we call as evil, as we also said, as we highlighted, could have a lot of things going on in the background. But in the interest in dharma, right? So you have to have that big picture of the dharmic thing going on also. So does not mean that we tolerate evil. We have to call out evil also. That's also interesting. But as a picture, evil also has a place in terms of our own growth kind of thing is also has to be recognized. So that is one aspect I thought was interesting because this kind of thing you see a lot. Because like in Kerala, for instance, the famous Chotanikara temple, or I think it's Chotanikara. Chotanikara itself. Chotanikara temple, the story goes that one, the temple which I mentioned in the previous video, Maga and all that, in Cochin kind of thing. So a man was carrying a copy to his guru. And the guru basically, I think Dr. Payals mentioned that in the last video. And a lady asked, may I accompany you? So like, okay, fine. So he's going to see a Kathakali performance. typical dance performance in Kerala. And then the lady is good looking, so he enjoyed the company. He's like talking to like a lady and all that. He gets to the Guru's place, he gives the Devi Mahatmyam copy to the Guru. Guru with his Devi Drishti sees that the lady with him is a Yakshini actually.
Listen and wait.
Someone who's a cannibal, someone who eats food, someone who eats human. So of course that's the other thing also I want to know, like the older...
Oh, I went to his range, I tried to slide back.
Not that safe actually.
Not well enough, no. Oh, I'm alive!
A lot of asuras and all that were roaming around eating humans and all that. That is really true. So there was a time like that in the planes. So that kind of thing was there. So then the Guru says, as long as you hold the...
I must be a filler character.
But it seems like this Yakshini has targeted you. There's no other way for you right now. She's hungry seems also. She's going to eat you.
Whoa. My Conquerors hockey? Oh, bro, I do that all the time. Bro. I'm sorry, bro.
You got frozen time.
Yeah.
It's only us who did you.
No, he's actually Black Beatles in the city.
What happened to
Maybe ate something.
Or maybe it's maybe.
Yakshini. No, but he's right on this.
Is it the shoe?
Oh, that is.
Where's Dr. Arden?
I was just saying, I was commenting on what you said earlier. I really liked what you said earlier because India, Bharat has been divided based on these political things. And it is true. I was not trying to say that Ravan was not a dharma.
Yeah, of course, yes. Yeah.
What I was trying to say is that he personified it so much. It was to a degree of perfection.
Where's this guy?
And that only Ram could kill, and only Ram would have the right to do that. Because someone like that, we can't fathom what they are if they go to that degree. Yeah. But I love what you're saying about evil.
Yeah.
Because that is dharma. I was saying earlier about adharma is greed. So rape is greed. You're taking what does not belong to you. You are stealing. It is actually tricky. So this is what these asuras always do, and that's why they're called asuras. They cross a boundary. They cross a limit.
Exactly.
So that was really beautiful because India has been very divided on this. Yeah, I didn't want to contribute to that. That was not my point.
Yeah, no, that's great. Astrological mindset is an Astrological mindset, so that's an important thing. So the Yakshini, right? So the Yakshini now, the guy is carrying the Devi Mahatmyam, now he walks faster, now he ends up running now to the temple. So the moment he crosses the temple, then now the Yakshini, by the time her form has completely changed, her evil form, the cannibalistic form has come out. The moment he stepped into the temple, as I mentioned last time also, he enters into the temple, he photos in the form. The goddess literally comes down, slays the head of the Yakshini, is the story. Now what has happened is that now in that particular land, if you go, the origin point of the Yakshini is actually celebrated. She's celebrated as a great someone who had the fortune of being slayed by that goddess actually. And literally now, the temple thing they will do, the goddess comes and visits the original place on an elephant top. Like people will go behind the elephant and literally the temple where the Yakshini was already found, like where the the goddess stays for some time, people go and so forth. Puja happens for the Devi in that temple and all that, and they come back. So this is a very interesting thing actually, the history where even sometimes evil is seen in a bigger perspective kind of thing, or as a history written by victors kind of thing going on, and also understanding each role to play. So sometimes understanding history comes with its own blessings actually. So sometimes people with Kritika can get stuck in this history thing as well. This can be a real point. This is my family history, I'm stuck in this particular thing. Or people stuck in the history that, their ancestors were subject to this bad thing from another person, descendant and all that. Now in some cases this could be very real. Like the Smiths hating the Johns, whatever, right? So stuff like that. And ancestral, enmity even across
the Great Divide,
right? Or whether it's and surprisingly you'll be actually surprised this thing really plays out in India. Certain last name people will still hate certain last name people and all that, because historically they might have fought against each other kind of thing. And that's a real thing, and that's this kind of thing is a very important point in Kritika. So this family history, the history of the land, history of your ancestors becomes a really important thing going on. And of course, depending upon the magnitude of the karma, like if it was one king who defeated other king, or if it was an ancient thing, your ancestors are always fought descendants of a particular race or whatnot, all that. So those kind of things are also very. In some cases, used to be the kings who would calm down the situation by marrying other kingdoms and so forth. So there were many other solutions.
What does that remind me of?
So that is one thing I want to mention. The other thing which was very interesting, which we talked before, Kritika also, in the chat, I mentioned how in Ayurveda, in Jyotisha, of course, the first moment, your birth chart is determined from the moment when the child cries.
The Gemini moment,
like the child is wanting the first air and all that.
Yeah,
so Jyotisha considers the first moment, the birth chart moment, to be the moment when the child cries, because that's when the Akash Tattva is coming. That's when the energy is coming into the child. The energy of the universe is coming into the child purely. That's from the going to be fructified. So that is one interesting moment the birth chart is created there. Now what is interesting for the Ayurveda people though, they actually consider the moment when the head comes out from the yoni as the first moment. They don't know your karmas and akashatva and all that. They're like, when did your body come? That is your moment, birth chart moment. That is when you should create your birth chart. The Ayurveda people's thing. And surprisingly, I was just mentioning that a client of mine, his family went to some.
His wing is.
Said that because the water broke for the mother in this particular time, the birth chart should be created for the moment when the water was broken.
Okay.
Now that makes sense. Like everyone is, of course, Jyotisha, like what
that was sad.
Because we are so used to like the first cry moment. Even Ayurveda people also is like, okay, it's the head thing. But then the water breaking is a very interesting thing, because it seems like the fluid, the energy from which the child was being born, the field from which the child was being born was being captured. So Siddhar might be born more concentrated on the karmic thing from the energy field perspective, right? Which is a very relevant thing to think. So perhaps they are looking at the birth chart from that moment to identify how that field itself is evolving for the child, which is a completely legit way of looking at birth chart also. So a very fascinating kind of view actually. So the first moment kind of thing is a very interesting thing. I thought that was very fascinating. And because the other aspect of the mundane which I've seen is also normally in Kerala and all that after 1 year or before 1 year also, there is a thing in which you give the first solid food giving to the child is celebrated as an actual, one of the samskaras actually, Shodasha samskara, one of the samskaras is the first solid food giving. So usually that kind of ritual is done and traditionally it's used.
Right.
Like your family, Kuladevata and all that, which I talk about. So Kuladevata and Kudumadevata or your Paradevata and all that, those temples you take your child. So 2 generations are present, and then they would give the first solid food in the presence of the goddess actually in the first thing. So then the families that do that particular thing, because the first solid food is being consumed in the presence of the goddess, that purity, that first consumption, only consumption actually maintained. Families that say they are on note, they do the first solid food in the home setting. So they have no other option. They might go to a local temple kind of thing. Then some issues end up happening. Because traditionally the ancestors sought a lot of protection from a particular devata by doing this ritual in front of a devi. So that kind of thing. And usually you give the first solid food. So sometimes I've seen challenges coming because the first solid food was not given from a young newborn child and all that. If the first solid food rituals are not done in the tradition thing, problems are eventually coming for the family. Because it was duty of the family. Much more spiritually strong environment kind of thing. The other thing which was kind of interesting, which I thought, now the same logic is also present for the hair ceremony or the mundan ceremony or the tonsure ceremony for the child. The same logic. In North India, you don't have that particular first solid food thing, but in the first mundan thing. Of course, if you cut the hair and if you do the tonsure for the hair, you shave the head of the child in the presence of a devata, a temple field. The Devata's temple field is energetically linked to a child's field, and therefore a lot of blessings are coming. So because Kritika is definitely the cutting of the womb, the cutting of the pipe which is linking the mother to the child. But Kritika is also, interestingly, scissors also, right? So the hair ceremony is also an actual thing actually in that way. Now many people, as Dr. Pai also mentioned, even now.
I thought it was,
as Dr. Pai mentioned just right now, if your parents are alive, you don't do the tonsure before giving someone born. If your parents are no longer there, but you can still do the tonsure even now. A lot of people need to do it.
See, as a basher.
A lot of people go to Palani and all that to do it, like in South and all that. You go to this temple. You can do this in any temple. In fact, what happens is that when you tonsure your head in the presence of a god or goddess, that devata's energy field is directly connecting to your energy field.
Okay.
And from that point on, that blessing, you're almost considered to be a child of the devata from that point. Now, this can happen independently, like you go to a temple and do it, hire a person to do it, and that samskara is done. So now you are a child for that devata.
I'm not your dad.
Or you can do it in a typical sannyasa parampara, and you see this in sannyasi rituals also, where a tonsure is an important thing, whether it's a Buddhist thing or a normal, Hindu sannyasi thing and all that. and so forth. Or you do that in the presence of the Guru Parampara now. The head of that mutt kind of thing is present when you're doing this particular ritual. Or you might do it after a havan. You do a lot of fire rituals and so forth. A lot of homas is done.
Okay.
After the homas, then you do the tonsure kind of thing in a sannyasa ceremony. A typical sannyasa ceremony, usually that kind of a change happens. Usually in the sannyasa ceremony, typically initially the goddess is invoked. Then after that, Shiva is invoked. So before the sannyasa ceremony, the goddess is invoked to make sure karmas are kind of harmonized. And then the moment Shiva is invoked, after that you change your robes and so forth, you do the tonsure and all that. Then Shiva is invoked in the fire. That's a very pure thing going on. So you can see the change in that energy. Change from the worldly energy with the goddess and the change to the Shiva energy kind of thing going. But this is a famous remedy, by the way. If nothing is going on in your life, go to some big temple like Tirupati, go to any major Shiva temple, go to any Jyotirlingas, do a tonsure, and then suddenly all your problems again. You are now considered to be a child of the Devata, so new energies will come into your life and so forth and all that. Many people have saved themselves to tonsure over their head, so that's something I can clearly claim. It reminds me of someone who went through a lot of loss actually, and when they did this particular thing, suddenly this is all business problems got sorted out. New offer came in and a lot of things improved for them. So it's a very, very powerful ritual actually. This tonsure of thing, as I mentioned. So the goat thing is very interesting in many ways. So, I just came to know that Ajay Kapala is like a goat. So, yeah, again, all that. It's kind of interesting. But then
One, two, three, four. Wait a minute.
In Ayurveda, apparently they say goat, the lamb, they actually call that. In fact, you cannot
Zahir, bro.
need to consume every day, like among the meat, like even fish also. Fish is not that heavy anyway, but goat meat is interestingly, Ayurveda itself says that, like you can consume it every day, which is making interesting because the goat is Kritika Nakshatra, moon is getting exalted here, and definitely it makes more sense in that particular way. Now, in that particular way also, so that's a very fascinating aspect because then the question of belly to the Devata and all that is very fascinating thing actually. The belly to the Devata, usually goat is given sacrifice as belly to many Devatas. It's still Kali Devatas who there are certain Devatas have certain preference for specific kind of food. Just like we would have a preference for the energy. Our energy might prefer either non-vegetarian food or vegetarian food. Even Devatas also at their own energy level have a preference for vegetarian food or the non-vegetarian food. So mostly the Tamasic Devatas, usually they'll have a preference for non-vegetarian food. Tamasic Devatas are deities who are warrior-like, the Kali and all that, Bhadravani and all that. Very hardcore Tamasic Devatas. They are defeating demons. They will have a preference for Tamasic food. But Sattvic Devatas, like Lakshmi is Rajasic Devatas, still Sattvic Devatas like Saraswati and all that, they only will consume very sweet kind of food and all that. So if you give meat to Lakshmi, you are entering into a different set of problems. If you give to sweet to Kali, you are entering into a different set of problems. Just because that energy is that tamasic energy, heavy energy that needs the blood. That kind of thing. So a blood drinking deity should be given blood. Now that's a real thing. Like a lot of people are encouraging the return to Bali-like practices. Because there's a lot of wealth problems and so forth, and because that tradition has been strong, which is creating an energy void, and a lot of regions have been.
Am I crazy, bro?
So in Kerala and all that, famously in North Kerala, the land of Kannur, the state of Kannur, there's a lot of political murders and all that. And apparently, it turns out in that particular region, they used to give a lot of blood to there are apparently a king in that particular land, North Kerala, Kannur region and all that. The king worshipped the goddess who called as Four Kali. Four Kali is War Kali. The goddess of war, the warrior, the goddess fighting in war form of Kali. So definitely heavy energy, heavy blood was given. At some point in time, many of these smaller families stopped giving their offerings, and then eventually they had to lot of problems. The land itself started to manifest political. The death of humans was a result eventually. A lot of families then they had to reinstate the practice of giving the ritualistic bali and all that.
Not you.
Things calmed down in the land after that apparently. So it's a very important point actually. So this bali. So Kritika is also the second house of food. It's starting entry point in the second house of food. So sometimes this karma of how you given the right bali to the right devata is a real question. A lot of Bengalis and Orissa, for instance, Orissa people in Bengal also. Even Bangladeshi origin also, or even Assam kind of region also, they might have a stronger link with the goddess Kali or Tamasic Devatas. And then suddenly you replace that with vegetable and all that, and you're having all kind of problems, suicide is happening in your family or all that, then this is a real concern. Eventually the need to go back to the old ways to satisfy the original energy which your ancestors worshipped becomes important. Or you have to find some other ways of protection. You come under a great guru in a way that now this also doesn't happen in Grahastha way. Most of the time the force of the ancestors is superior force. Just because you follow one guru by name does not work. If you have taken sannyasa and all, okay, fine, that guru protection can be claimed. Guru Parampara protection can be claimed. But sometimes the original thing and all that, you have to really be cautious. This is a real problem. This is uniquely a Kali problem. Lands where Kali was worshipped. Like this particular food problem. The goddess, non-vegetarian goddess is fed vegetarian food, and you are expected to get the same result. No, it will not. Guess what? So this thing is really a problem. And this is also very interesting and important also. Quite often, when you're about to do some rituals or when you're chanting some mantras also, certain kind of food is supposed to be abolished.
Forgot about that.
Sometimes, in some cases, non-vegetarian food is abolished. Some cases, even specific kind of food is also abolished, like food under the ground and all that is also abolished. So then these kind of problems can be called out in Kritika Nakshatra. Kritika Nakshatra is directly linked with mantras, by the way. As Dr. Pai mentioned, Yuji mentioned the spelling and all that. The mantra chanting is very strong in Kritika Nakshatra. But as I mentioned, there is a food component to it. Does not mean that the food alone is going to be the spiritual thing. Of course, you have to understand it in this proper context. A lot of depth is in that regard. So that is one thing I want to say. We mentioned about the history of mankind and all that already. As mentioned, some tribes consider themselves to be, the descendants of Pleiadians and so forth. So that is also very true. And now and then I'll just quickly mention about one more thing. Now, Kritika Nakshatra is very interesting because from the food perspective also, a lot of temples, a lot of goddess temples, that are very famous temples, they have something called Kartika. Now, normally you hear like Tiruvadira, you hear like Tiruvanam. But Trikartika is kind of interesting because it's kind of pointing to like this Kartika Nakshatra day is very auspicious. And many goddess temples, they'll actually have Annadanam to the people on that day. So Trikartika is the day when you get food from a goddess temple. That is equivalent to like a great thing. You are getting a prasad of a goddess temple from a Kartika Nakshatra day. Kritika Nakshatra day as it's called. Well, then of course this is an easy remedy. What happens if you're giving food to a deity on that day? Like in North India, you can actually offer kheer to a deity and all that on Kritika Nakshatra day. You can actually offer kheer. You can donate whatever you want, food items and all that. If you just do that particular ritual once a month kind of thing, from a nakshatra perspective, a lot of your materialistic problems can get sorted out. Because your food, they consume whatever you're consuming in the senses. Slowly you will see intelligence coming, more superior energies coming, that particular way. But like I said, Trikartika is a very big thing in many festival time and all that. So the Trikartika day, you have to go and get food from the temple and all that. Many temples still have Trikartika as I mentioned. Yeah. So it's a very interesting thing that's happening on Kritika Nakshatra day. That's which I thought was very fascinating actually. So that is one thing. The other thing which Evji...
How many of those did he do, bro?
Itself was the yogic side.
I thought he did like 2 to 3.
The Agni and all that, which is great, which is
2 to 5.
Also. And definitely the Mukhya Agni or even the Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana is also typically called out as a Kundalini Shakti.
Pyro, bro.
In fact, there are many occult traditions where they literally call out the Kundalini Shakti as secret fire as well.
Makes sense.
Secretive fire. And the fire which the Greeks, the Prometheus was guarding and bringing back and all that, or the fire the Prometheus gave to the human beings and so forth, which Zeus punished Prometheus for, and so forth, is also supposed to link with all this. Now, this is very interesting also because there are a lot of hidden things there. And of course, the Kundalini Shakti, the yogic people have their own, we have our own system going on. Egyptians have their own thing with the serpent power. When the pharaohs are depicted with a snake around their head region, 100% they were manifesting the working with energy. It's very clearly, that was very, very clear. But the Agni link with Kundalini Shakti is very interesting and very important. And this is very fascinating also. In fact, Agni, when you give it a specific kind of food items to the Agni, each food item Agni is given a particular name. You can give black sesame seed to Agni, then Agni is called in a different name. Now you can give like rice to Agni, that Agni is given a different name. And so what would happen is that like when you give very specific kind of items to Agni, your Agni within you would also grow. So this is also a big point. So when you're doing fire rituals, the kind of food offering you're giving to Agni, if you're giving tamasic food offering to Agni, tamasic region is the Agni thing, you're handling that divine energy at that level. When you give rajasic food offerings to Agni, that energy is being awakened to the rajasic level, that is being growing. And then when you have the sattvic food offering, then it's growing significantly. Now, and this was of course the Agnihotra, the normal which I think Dr. Pai mentioned last time, and he also was mentioning, like when you do, a lot of people do Agnihotra, they'll give cow dung, which is a tamasic food offering, then they'll give rice, which is a rajasic food offering, then they'll finally give ghee, which is a sattvic food offering. So 3 gunas has been captured, so people who do that kind of thing. However, the problem that happens that if your ancestors were not used to this particular thing, if you do not come from a family lineage which is capable of handling the Agni.
I hear you.
Most of the time, your Agni is to be lower than which is the usual thing.
Nice space.
So there's a lot of work you have to do. So you'll have to watch out. So quite often in these kind of cases, they are really encouraged to balance. In Tantric Sampradaya, they encourage you to balance the, the Agni, in Purusharna kind of thing, what they encourage to do is that do a lot of mantras first, then do the thing, and then do the ahutis and so forth is actually called out. And then there is a Abhishek also it's called. There's a proportion thing. They do more, make you do more mantras with the fire offerings, and then you do the water offerings, and then finally you do the Brahman Bhojan kind of thing. Is the logic. So that is designed so that because if you have a lot of karma, you get a fire thing directly, and a lot more karmas can get burnt.
Yeah.
So that's the other side,
right,
which I thought was very fascinating. So sometimes if your ancestors are not used to that energy, so sometimes it can be challenging also. So that aspect is there. However, Homa, then
we already talked about this.
Homa is called out clearly as a daily practice that is to be maintained according to Vedic people. But at least minimum, if you're doing Homam on once a year, twice a year, and all, a lot of problems can be sorted out no matter what. But at least, or even be participant of something or doing, because spiritually that Agni will rise. And if you're not handling, if your lifestyle is not matching to the Agni and all, it can really create problems. So that is also the other side of it. So working with fire comes with fire actually, So famously the Nab yogis would actually have a fire outside the guhas where they're sleeping and all that, right? So that was very 100% that's. And the other aspect is that Agni is also very much alive, which is something which is a very important point. Agni is a living thing. Agni is a living being.
Oh!
The Agni
I love that Agni is alive. I don't like
the concept of Agni Sakshi was also called out. The Agni is witness to your prayers kind of thing. It's called out. So anytime when you're doing prayers, when you do it in the presence of fire, it's supposed to be extremely strong.
Right.
People with Kritika Nakshatra, when they say a genuine prayer with the presence of fire, the prayer will usually get fulfilled. If you make spell work, candle magic and all that, fire and magic and all that, definitely the spell casting works actually very heavily. Specialized candles are there to do all kinds of things. So whatever, right? As you mentioned to seduce your boyfriend and all that, bring your boyfriend a power, or to attract wealth and money and all that. All that is there. But you can do all that. That kind of thing is very much there. So the candle magic is the Agni thing, which is kind of enhancing that fire, enhancing that principle. It's a normal energetic principle. Once you understand it, you can utilize it. Overuse it. So similar, that's one. The other thing which I thought was very fascinating was that in similar kind of astrology, like you have the Shankha Jyotisha and all. Shankha Jyotisha is when you turn a Shankha, you turn a conch shell and determine which of the 12 Rashis the Shankha is responding to, and based on that you make a prediction. This is not the Kauri shell astrology in which they do this, but in Shankha Jyotisha and all, they actually say that the Taurus Rashi, the 12th second division, is usually linked with the gods of Subramanya, Kartikeya. Then they call it Yogishwara. Yogishwara is someone who, a sadhu or a saint, an ancestor who meditated upon the deity and became like Ishwara Saman. A yogi who became like an Ishwara. Someone who was attaining like
43 minutes.
This thing, and then there's another word called Madan.
I want to do it in
like a mountain devata.
Real not going to do it in base. This is an optional freaking boss, man.
Taurus, Kritika is also linked with forest.
To be commander, guys.
Exalted there. The Sharavana, the reed forest and all that was mentioned. So sometimes temples in mountain regions or even forest regions could purify this karma much more strongly as well. So different energies, different temples by the ocean will have different energy. Temples by the cities will have different energy. Temples by the mountains will have different energy. Temples by the forest and even farmlands will have different energy. So here you have to go to the temples by the forest, temples in the middle of the forest to sort out the issues. That can also be interesting. What I thought was interesting was that in AD sign they actually link the gods linked with Guru, your Guru energy, and Surya is called up. Which makes sense. Sun is getting exalted in AD, so Surya as a Devata can help you in calming that energy down.
Wouldn't let me run.
And the Algol thing is also very fascinating because Algol is considered to be in the Arabian astrology, as you mentioned, most poisonous people usually are lots of problems. That day is not easy. All that kind of thing is clearly called out in Algol. But if you look at the Algol constellation, right, a very interesting thing is called out. Apparently, it's linked with the Perseus constellation. Perseus is holding Algol on one end, and on the other end, he's having a sword, and his sword is a concept. Now, the Algol is famously linked with the head of Medusa. Actually, the head of Medusa is basically like whom Perseus, again, the famous head, which would make everything into stone. Whichever the person, that Medusa was that Greek character. I forget the full history, but that's the thing. Everyone knows Medusa. That's everyone is familiar with Medusa at least. Someone who had a head filled with snakes. And then when she would look at anyone, they would be turned into statue. So Perseus famously had to use a shield to reflect the thing and look at Medusa indirectly through the shield and cut her head off like that. Now the interesting thing is that the story is very fascinating to the point where there are some traditions where they encourage. If you meditate upon alcohol, you will get the poison kind of thing. But if you meditate upon the sword of the Perseus thing in the sky, you can get the solution kind of thing as well. So this is where you are meditating directly upon the stars, directly upon the constellation. One, you understand the problematic side of stars. Other, you are seeing the solution side of stars as well. This is a very fascinating thing because it's came across this information which I thought was very fascinating. Now the final thing I want to talk about is something, but it's a slightly longer topic, but very relevant though, is weapons action. Weapon is a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it's a huge deal. We talked about appropriately in Kritika Nakshatra, which is having a sword as a symbol. It talked about the Asi that was handed down to, which will eventually be handed down to Ashwatthama and all that, which is being currently held by Kripacharya according to the picture at least. So that's a very interesting thing. So the Asi thing, the sword thing is so fascinating. Because
this track on my mom coming soon.
An event in a temple where a sword was donated actually. Like I'm like, the sword is very fascinating right now. So normally donation of a sword is considered to be a very direct way to ensure protection from the Devata. Now you have given the weapon for the Devata to fight. This is the easiest thing. Many traditions do this. For instance, they donate swords and shields very regularly to their gurudwaras. Very fast, very normal thing for them. In many temples of warrior deities, a goddess who's holding a sword, donating a sword to a deity is considered to be a great starting point. You are given now the deity the permission to protect your family, for lack of a better word. You have made a transaction of the sword, now the deity can come and protect you. And this can be a real thing. Now in some cases, you can do that to a temple warrior, right? In other cases, of course, you can donate to a sword during festival time. Many people have done that also. Temples were, many Kaula temples with a lot of shamans where the goddess comes in a human being and you can talk with the goddess and all that. It's a normal practice to donate a sword if you're going through a lot of issues kind of thing going. And the sword is also fascinating, like the ultimate thing in Vastu Shastra, as far as Vastu Pujas and Vastu Tantra kind of thing is concerned, is that if your land is subject to so much evil forces, like if you have like you ghost attacking everything, it's like a genuine thing. People have started targeting you as a black magic thing, sending energy. There is no doubt about that. The final resort that is concerned Vastu to protect your land is to do puja for a sword of a devata.
Damn, my hands hurt, bro.
That particular sword, a small miniature kind of sword, a silver thing, is basically put into the land of that, into your homeland kind of thing, where your land is, whichever land is needs protection. Now this land is considered to be, when the sword, the ritualistic sword, the sword upon which a lot of pujas and mantras are done, that particular small sword, miniature sword, is basically put into the earth where you want protection. That land, that plot of land is now considered to be goddess land owned by the goddess. You are technically owning in the land of the goddess at this point in time. So there are cases like this, which is also very rare. If you have politicians and all that, a lot of political targets. Normal thing in India, you hire black magicians to target and all that. This kind of thing is, this practice is done by certain tantrics to protect your home. And because if it's considered to be like a prop. So this sword is a very big deal. There's a lot of rituals that can be done, a lot more things that can be done.
Yeah, really good idea.
Now the other thing is with the sword is that in Kerala and all that, you find this concept, this particular thing during festival time. There is a procession of a sword that might happen from one temple to another.
What?
So
that wasn't my idea.
That, or in some cases, the sword is getting also. Like a lot of Kali temples, the sword of the goddess is usually, the procession begins at midnight time. Nighttime and all, 12 a.m. and all that, you'll literally bring the sword, and that sword is literally treated like a VIP, treated as a goddess.
You'll know when I have the good idea.
And then that particular energy is something you see going. That elephant put an elephant top, and then elephant is basically going around in a procession thing and all that. A lot of you're beating the sword, you're welcoming the sword with a lot of flowers and fire and all that and so forth and all that. It's a fairly normal thing in Kerala, which you can see. Procession of a sword, as I said. Now, in some cases, because goddess Kali is considered to be the child of Shiva, and that is the form of Kali that is. So the procession of the sword will begin. A Shiva temple will begin the sword. The sword will start the procession from a Shiva temple. Then it will go to like a Kali temple, and then the puja and rituals and the celebration of all is done. And then the sword finally comes back to the Shiva temple. That is also very interesting kind of thing that is celebrated. Of course, that temple used to be the famous in Kerala, Calicut, my city, the famous Vadanadu temple, the temple that used to be the royal family temple, the family that was kind of ruling Kerala for a really long time, like 1,100 years kind of thing. And before the Britishers came, because they had their own wars and so forth and all that, that particular goddess is having this particular
the
sword. Because then, of course, now there are two things that is happening here. You're ritualistic, you're energetically linking this one temple to the other temple.
It wasn't a mystery,
which is really fascinating. So sometimes one family might send someone else as a member, as a sword, to other family for protection. Exactly same energy dynamics you are seeing through the sword. But Kritika Nakshatra native might find themselves being
with bloodhounds, right?
Exalted portion, Taurus as the Lagna, Moon as the third lord. You might have to travel. You might have to go to another family kind of thing just to communicate. Or you might have to do some family deeds like that. And this is a unique Kritika thing. So again, I mentioned a Devata thing like that, so that the same thing will be reflected in the human world in terms of Buloka, human karma worlds, which is also very interesting. Now the third thing, what is fascinating, I mentioned the samurai also. Now what the samurai would do...
Wrong order, sir.
And this is where the samurai, of course, had their own sword and all that. Samurai would basically reflect the energy of the sunlight from their sword. They would basically capture specifically the rays of the rising sun would be reflected off the sword, and they would be absorbing that energy from the sword. Now, there are different kind of steels you can find out there for sword. Like, if you search, you can find a red steel. Samurai sword with red steel and all that you can find. Blue steel sword and all you can find. In Japanese, there's a samurai sword that. Horribly expensive though, not easy to get also. You can't even, you literally have to get permission from a Japanese police station and all that, because they now consider the national treasure and all that to get that kind of sword, samurai sword and all that. So that's the problem there. But what they would do is that this red steel samurai sword, they would actually reflect the energy of the sunlight, and that energy will be absorbed upon their Shakti, upon their energy field, their thing. Of course, samurais would meditate also. They had their own spiritual practice, they had their own audio practices kind of thing.
It doesn't really need to though, yeah, Elden.
Reflected off a weapon. It's a very powerful thing. That kind of thing is something they would do. Now, this same principle was, of course, used by the yogis also in many ways. The yogis had their own trishul. But the trishul is, of course, is a pointed field, pointed weapon, where the energy is kind of pointing to the upwards. But it's kind of pointing to pointed pranas. A directed pranas is what trishul is pointing to. So trishul is not going to give the same result as the sword. In the sword, the entire edge is sharp from the top to the bottom. The trishul, the pointed point is only at the top. That is the difference. So they actually encourage to keep a sword in the home. If that makes sense. To keep a sword, worship the sword.
Oh, that's cool.
The sword and
that's actually really
that, they encourage that. And
family is exalted.
In samurai world and all that, having a sword was literally equivalent to your sword, to your sword. The sword of a samurai is considered to decide on the sword actually. Makes you think. It's possible that you could do a lot more spiritual practices to maintain some energy in the sword, which could help in your sadhana and all that, in many powerful ways. In fact, this tradition of carrying a sword is pretty much normal in the Taoist world also. In the Taoist world, you can see a lot of Tai Chi swords and all that and so forth. So the Tai Chi people would be practicing with the sword and all the Chi would be stored in that sword. And anytime they wanted help, they would be meditating upon the sword. Immediately that Shakti that was stored in the sword would be actually coming back into their system very quickly. So it was a very powerful thing. And what is fascinating is that the legend says that in Chinese fantasies and so forth, people would travel across the world through a sword. So if you see any Chinese fantasy TV show, the person will be literally flying across the world on the sword. The sword will be literally like a skateboard kind of thing, which they'll be on top of the feet, and then literally the sword is taking from the lower worlds to the higher worlds kind of thing. It's a typical thing. A sword, so therefore a sword, a spiritual weapon, was considered to be pretty much norm in ancient time. This was a norm. So if Kali was carrying a sword, there was an era when spiritual warriors were carrying weapons also. This was the norm. This was considered to be a normal thing to do because everyone had a spiritual outlook. Everyone is trying to improve their energies. They would definitely utilize the energies of the weapon to develop themselves as well. It was pretty much the norm. Chinese society, it was the Taoist world and all, it was pretty much the norm. Like in Chinese, but in the same thing in samurai also. It was the no. You would meditate with the sun, you would do many things and so forth. So the simplest thing that can be done is like you can actually store mantras to a sword. You can actually store mantras to a dagger. Forget about a sword. You can just get a dagger. Now, apparently, the difference between a knife and a dagger, which I came to know recently, was a knife only has one side that is cut. Daggers and both
I
sides.
didn't know that. Wow.
You know. Now, among the weapons, among this normal steel, accessible steel, something called a Damascus steel, which I don't know if I mentioned before. Damascus steel is considered to be very spiritually one of the most powerful things that you can get. If the Damascus steel sword or a Damascus steel dagger, you can hold it in your right hand, face the east direction to activate the sun energy. Anytime chant any mantras. Slowly what will happen is that mantra which you're chanting, that energy will be stored in your sword or the dagger. Now, of course, if you have sword, great. Then you can channelize, you can hold a very specific position, then channelize all that energy into that, chant mantra of the sword. That kind of thing can be done. There are pure occult traditions where they do this kind of things. As I mentioned, but the simplest thing you can do is that whatever energy you want to be stored in the sword, you can store that sword. And believe me, just like you have red steel to absorb the red light energy from the sun, blue steel to absorb the more blue kind of frequency from the sun, different kind of weapons to hold specific energy is also possible. You can chant like just like how the veil of Murugan and all that is there. So Murugan's carrying Murugan Shakti without doubt. You can chant Murugan's veil energy kind of thing in that particular way. The spear of Murugan as it's called. You can chant the Devi mantras, very pure warrior deities like Durga mantra and all that, the dagger. And what I was
baited me, man.
Someone like this actually, I recommended this remedy to a lady actually who had some challenges in their life. So I recommended them to basically hold a Damascus steel dagger, face each direction, chant some.
Because I didn't take a shower, guys. If I showered, I would have whooped.
Normally, you can also do Kali mantras very easily. You can do Bhadrali mantras and just Bhadrali Nama kind of thing, very good to do. Don't do anything more than that. Bhadrali or Durga and all that is what I would use staying there because that's one thing.
So easy.
You can hold that in your right hand and just stand that thing. And then what happened to this lady was that she actually got a dream in which the goddess came and goddess said one shloka to her in the dream, but the shloka was modified with 2 words actually. And she actually consulted with a mantra guru. I got a dream with this shloka and all that. And the mantra guru confirmed me. Yeah. So this is something you can utilize every day. And there are many things like that. There are many prayogas with Devi Mahatmya, shlokas and all that where you can do things and so forth. So she actually ended up doing that. And then her married, settled down, things improving, stuff like that. You know, so you are surprised actually. So some things can be, the moment you're holding like a sword or a dagger and all that, and you're inviting the Devata energy, it can really protect you in many powerful ways. Like I said, this is a very, very amazing still alive. This was very much alive. When you worship a sword, during the Navami time, Durga Puja time, when you worship weapons on the Navami day or Ashtami day, this was very much active. What we call as a weapon, as a divine weapon, was a very important thing in ancient times and still is very important in many traditions actually, as I mentioned. Now the other side of the sword is also something I came across recently. Like I came across a person who had a khadga which was used to do the belly of a goat for goddess Kali or goddess Durga in Bengal and all that. Now for 3-4 years that khadga has not been given blood because some argument happened between the colony people who were doing it, and then normal human drama happened. So because of this, now the people who were originally using that family's khadga kind of thing, now they ended up getting their own khadga using. This khadga has not tasted blood. 3 years, this particular person is actually facing problems. So this is also a real problem. This kind of situation also is something to watch. If you started some practice, you did not give anything, then it's a real problem. So I have to encourage a native to, you have to do your own thing actually. There is no other solution. The khadga is there in your home, has done blood. So this is also a problem with some swords, by the way. This is a real problem. If at all you pick up an antique weapon, be very cautious. If it has drunk blood, you think it as a historical artifact or looks cool, Victorian era. But if it's like, if it has killed many people, had human blood and all that, you have to be very, very cautious. Because many times there are cases where some antique weapons are just picked up by the person. Literally they start firing and all that can actually happen. So those kind of things are also one more big thing, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, one of the great things to do is to actually donate a sword to any. In my opinion, when you donate a talwar or a sword to any Devi temple that is out there, you are increasing the Martian field in that particular Devata energy space actually.
Yeah.
Now the Devata can protect the land more. That's the thing. If you donate a veil to a Murugan temple, definitely Murugan's veil, Martian energy is increasing the temple energy field. Definitely the more protection will be happening in that land. And this is the Guruduwaras and all that. A lot of talwars and a lot of shields. The Guru energy is so much there in Gurudwara. So the people who are actually having that Martian energy, they'll get the protection of that particular guru kind of thing going on very strong.
Saturn and Aquarius.
A very, very powerful thing, as I mentioned. Now, the other thing is that, and I think this is the final thing actually. So this weapon, as I mentioned, if you're chanting mantras facing the east direction, there's no time to it, but of course, east direction is ensuring the energy of the sun is kind of being captured. So what is interesting is that the sword, eventually the point of the sword also, point of weapon is very interesting. So in coloring and all that, usually what they'll do that, initially they'll make you fight with sticks. Then you learn to fight with knives, like a dagger kind of thing, you learn to fight. Then you learn to fight with two kind of sticks kind of thing. And what happens is with each kind of progression weapon, then you get to learn. And bigger than that, topmost kind of weapon in Kalari was the flexible sword, which is called as Urumi and all that. So what was happening is that in Kalari, in that kind of system, there was a progression that was happening also, along with each stage of weapon. And of course, the awareness is also growing with each kind of weapon you're using. So if you're using a shorter weapon, you're fighting up close kind of thing. Longer weapon as you're
I'm switching to Fortnite later, so.
Happening. Your energy field is also growing. Your awareness is also growing from that space. So the weapon progression is also very interesting thing which has happened. Now, the other thing was that in a weapon, just like how you can store mantras in a statue, or mantras in a yantra, or mantras in anything, like pujas can be done to kavach and all that, that kind of thing is done. You can also store mantras in a weapon. That's the overall logic. That's why you can keep it in your home shrine itself to the right hand side, or your left hand side, or the right hand side of the avatar. The weapon is placed there, and then slowly it will also protect you, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Now, of course, the sword will, if you have a dagger, it might require regular maintenance. If it's catching rust and all that, once a year you'll have to visit the blacksmith and fix that up. That kind of thing is very important. So, if at all, that's a normal thing also. Before festival time, all the swords in a temple is usually sent to a local blacksmith, and then usually that is taken care of. Now, the thing though which I want to highlight was that, just like the veil is pointing to the Kundalini Shakti, which Murugan's veil is pointing to a Shakti which is being awakened and channeled in the Sushumna Nadi. Even the Trishul is pointing to the Shakti which is awakened in the Sushumna Nadi and channelized all the way to the top, which is Shiva's weapon. Similarly, the sword of a Devi or sword is also symbolizing the energy that is channeling up to the Sushumna Nadi kind of thing as well. And therefore, this was a very powerful thing. Anytime you would actually hold the sword, this thing would also happen. So yogis were not carrying a trishul, but Shakshtam Upasakas were not carrying a trishul, just like that. They had pure yogic purpose behind that also.
Why did it take him 20 years to charge?
So this is a very important thing, which is now the final point which I want to make is that the spine energy is of course the Sushumna, Agni, Nadi and all that, and definitely as you mentioned. Now in some sampradayas they actually consider the sun as a graha to be linked with the spine, and Shani as a graha to be linked with the skin, which is very fascinating. Sun is the closest place to the divinity kind of thing, the Atma kind of thing. Shani is the farthest place in your body away from the light of the Sushumna Nadi. And one of the easiest way to find control in yourself is if you can focus on the spine. At least if you're not doing Kriya, okay, fine, but at least
Kriya Yoga to the spine. That's funny actually. Is that what this is?
along your spine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So I was telling, so the spinal awareness is a big point. If you become awareness of if you have spinal awareness kind of thing, thoughts that are troubling you will immediately come under control. Breathing up and down along the spine is the easiest thing that can be done. Many people do that, right? Om Namah Shivaya and all that. They'll say Om is the top chakra, Om is also the Muladhara chakra, Namah Shivaya is the rest of the chakra, and do the circulation of Om Namah Shivaya and all that can be done. Very simple kind of practice actually. Like when you do that particular practice and all, it's pretty amazing actually. But simpler terms also I've seen, like even if you just breathe, be aware of the spine. People are saying I'm always feeling depressed, I don't feel this thing, I'm feeling lost.
All of the vertebrae?
The spine. You'll be amazed to see how that immediately, just taking a few moments of your day just to be aware of your spine, is literally giving you power, literally you are having that control factor coming in your life very easily. And that will slowly increase your sun to the point where you are able to actually bring in that spiritual energy to all aspects of your life. That's the whole point of these things. Anyway, and it's a very easy thing. People are having sexual issues. People are feeling like they don't have control over their sexuality and all that. Spinal awareness as well. People who are having other problems like fear and all, anxiety and all that. Spinal awareness as well. It's a very, all the yogis and people on the yoga sampradaya immediately, they know this thing works. This is the foundation for yoga and all. a pretty normal thing. But for someone who has nothing going on, I've seen just doing that simple practice will also help. But I have no doubt that that is linked with many other aspects. That is directly linked with weapons also, which is a complete thing by itself, and that's the main thing. Even the shape of the weapon also gives you a lot of clues. So Goddess Kali is having the moon sword actually. Chandrahasa, the smiling moon sword. So which means the top portion is where her action is going to be strong. That energy.
I hear that. Do you? Y'all hear that? Y'all aren't hearing them.
Curvy dagger, some dagger, straight dagger, some dagger. You can identify the energetic pathway that energy is going to go up along the spine as well, which can give you a lot of clue. Just like how Trishul is pointing towards the top, and the veil is pointing to a straightforward direction up and all that. Moon sword is also pointing to an energy point, energy moment, which is kind of different also. And so key thing is that
Sorry about
all this is Agni, all this is Kritika, all this is sword. All this is kind of linked with that Shakti kind of thing, which is going on. And 100% it's like CVG mentioned, 100% directly linked with the yogi kind of thing. It's a huge point. So what UG mentioned, I just want to highlight because there's a lot of great points that is happening in the sword part and Dr. Pai also mentioned about sword a lot. So that kind of gave a lot of insights actually, because something I was familiar with actually. So it's great. So yeah. So this is what I want to share on Kritika. So this is something I thought I did not share before also. So it was great actually.
It was great.
So when you mentioned the water breaking too, I had wanted to comment on that just quickly. You said it was a energetic
Yeah, energy field around the child. The energy field on the child is basically what that Siddhar is trying to capture. Yeah. It's almost like they are keen, they're working at that level, not keen on the, the Buloka karma, which is a normal thing for Jyotishis and all that. So yeah.
No, that was really profound though, because water does carry, it transmits electricity, it transmits feeling, it transmits.
See, I want to point out the two little things which have come from two little aspects which Santik has actually mentioned. Actually, three. The first thing I want to say is Bharani and Kritika is also a Gandanta point. The first thing I want to reiterate. Why I'm saying that, I will also explain to you.
Or blasphemous.
See, Gandanta means it is what we already know is between fire sign and water sign. If you really know the Shakti of these nakshatra, Bharani is Apa Bharani. Apa is water.
Spitting facts.
Kritika is fire. So in South India, where I come from, there are two nakshatras in which they don't allow you to do anything auspicious. And the first one is called as Bharani Kritika. They say, Bharani Kritika, don't do anything good. Don't start something new.
That's so funny.
Because it is like a Gandanta, because Bharani is the last star and Kritika is the first star. Bharani is Apa Bharani and Kritika is Agni. So that is like a Gandanta. Now, for those people who understand the nakshatra aspect of things, I'm going to give you one more clue why this junction point is going to be very heavy duty. And then I will also come to the other part of what he was talking about, black magic. So the first thing I wanted to say is Bharani is a Adhomukha nakshatra, which means facing downwards. Kritika is also Adhomukha nakshatra. And the only other two pairs of nakshatra which come as Adhomukha is Ashlesha and Magha. Otherwise, you'll never find two consecutive nakshatras are Adhomukha. So Ashlesha and Magha is a Gandanta, everybody knows. But very few people know that Bharani and Kritika is also Gandanta. To explain that to you, because both are Adhomukha. That means the moon's powers are very draining for you. When the moon is moving from Ashlesha to Magha also, it's very draining.
I hear you.
Now I'm coming to the remedial part of these kind of things. Now, you have talked about sword. Did you ever know Sudarshan Chakra is also called as Chakra Talwar? Talwar.
Oh, what?
Sword, but it's in the form of a chakra. I'll discuss. Chakra Perumal. Narasimha Chakra Talwar. This is the most potent weapon of Vishnu, which is Narasimha Chakra Talwar. And that symbology, if you see, you know, it is Agni and Sudarshana both together as Talwar. Let me just share my screen to show you this from a website which has posted this. And you will see now this is a Narasimha Chakra Talwar. Can you see Narasimha is sitting, he's Yogi Narasimha, and he's sitting in this flame with the chakra. And look, two lions are holding this. He's Yogi Narasimha. This is Chakra Talwar.
Oh!
Chakra Talwar in different forms.
I got snuck.
Do you know who is this Chakra Talwar? Was also Kartivira Arjuna, the 1,000-armed. He was said to be an incarnation of Sudarshan Chakra. Kartivira Arjuna, who Parashurama chopped off, each of his 1,000 arms were chopped off by Parashurama. Right? This is Sudarshan Chakra as Kartivira Arjuna. Can you see again? Vishnu here is in the Chakra Talwar. Chakra with the disc. Very, very sharp blade.
I think I think I used to have one of these statues actually some time back. So I think what used to happen was that this is considered to be the Sudarshan Chakra was considered to be the most tamasic form of Vishnu. And he will give you protection of
What is this?
It can give you protection from sinister black magic also.
Yeah.
Because you can get real though.
So you can see here, there are so many depictions of this, but I just found out only in this website. This is so beautiful. Can you see?
Yeah, in fact, the Sudarshan Kavach is a pretty great remedy actually. Like you can get it, so people are feeling like, oh my god, what's going on to me? I'm anxiety, I feel down. Yeah, for protection, you basically get a Sudarshan Kavach from some website, some pundit to make it for yourself. You wear it. People do it in silver, people do it in gold and all that. So all that is it. So doing that is great actually. If you have that thing, then if you wear a Kavach, so they do sometimes recommend recharge and all that. So sometimes they'll say, okay, it will last for a year, or sometimes they'll say with gold it will last for 2-3 years. Then you might have to do the same Sudarshan Puja again 5 years later kind of thing and all that. So I've seen that kind of thing going on as well. So that thing is there, but Sudarshan Kavach is a pretty powerful thing to protect actually. So Sudarshan Kavach will protect you. It will create like a field around you, and around your space, if there's any negativity and all that, it will kind of absorb and make sure it is eliminated. So I remember attending one Sudarshan Havan like that, and then suddenly like the priest said, just open the doors. And then the door was opened, and literally a cat came to the door. And then like the cat was just shoot off immediately. Then the priest basically explained after the thing and all that, when you do the Sudarshan thing, if there is any negative entity that is there in that space kind of thing, it will be drawn to the Havan fire actually. And the cat, this cat was apparently lying around on mango tree and all that in this particular land. And it was like, there is a rumor that someone might have buried something in that land. So that energy, that black magic thing was put down to the cat. Rode on the cat, and when the fire was going on, it just pulled that cat in, and then from the cat which came to the door, when the door was open, the energy got pulled into the fire. That's the thing. And then it was finally sent to the lower locals, basically, what apparently happened. So like, it was interesting because I saw that, right? So I saw the cat rarely comes to the door also, it usually walks past the door and all that. So that kind of thing. So sometimes Sudarshan Homa is very powerful, but Sudarshan Kavach is also very powerful like that. So it's a great thing. So this weapon related Homa, right? Again, Kritika Zakni, critical weapon also. Those kind of things can be a very good thing also in that regard. Very fascinating, as you talked about. Yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah, it's a very interesting timing too, because I had just written the beginner's class I'll be doing that. I was like, I really think people need to steer away from the tamasic forms of Jyotish. So I kind of want to marry this right now to explain something. It is not that protection against these things should not be practiced or taught.
Okay.
Jyotishis need to increasingly be careful, however, because I've heard a lot of readings where someone just randomly says, oh, this person was an enemy. Oh, this person was they put bad energy on you. They do that. Guys, do not practice that kind of Jyotish. Okay. You don't, unless you really know.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Okay, that is really destructive. Taking away people's peace of mind is very bad news. Especially if you're functioning with half knowledge. So like most people don't even know the karakas of the 8th house, the karakas of the 6th house, the karakas of the 12th house. So as soon as they see those, it's always something that's very negative.
All of the karakas?
Person's peace of mind. And that is actually participating in pop karma. So for Jyotishis, the reason I don't like to talk about black magic, actually in this environment, it's the right place. In a reading, when we just look at something, someone put black magic on you, that is really, you have no idea what may be happening there if you are not 100% certain. Functioning with half knowledge is like a monkey with a razor blade. So speaking of Kritika, half knowledge is actually more destructive sometimes than no knowledge.
That's why you have 2 gurus.
And this Kritika topic, I've just been listening to you guys going, oh, this is such interesting timing, because I just told that class I will not be engaging. If someone comes to me and say, well, you look at my chart, is this person bad? I will not do that. You need to handle your problems You might have had a simple disagreement. And then it's all, or someone might have done something you misunderstood. What cannot be handled by logic, then you handle it another way. If it can be handled through logic and you skip that step because you don't want to be careful or you don't want to be humble to admit, you know what, the 8th house is showing up. It has 10 different karagas. Why are we choosing the most tamasic?
Imagine exactly 10.
So that kind of thing, I think in this Kritika video and really what we speak, the mouth, I really want to say both sides are very needed. The proper explaining of black magic and all of these things and the protection from it, because it does exist.
Yeah.
It's not that it doesn't exist. I mean, Sandipji, I've seen these similar kind of things. And those kind of animals will, they actually see things. They don't really judge it. So those things will follow them. That hence, like you feed a dog at a funeral, like a Parsi, or the Parsis will feed dogs bread because they see the bhut.
Oh.
Yeah, they have that vision and it takes the impressions of that astral body. So like a cat or a dog or something showing up at one of those places, just like you'll see in Mandirs. Like you'll see like a Bhairav puja going on and all of a sudden a dog comes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you'll see this. It is a real thing. It's not that it's not real. It's that I don't know if Jyotishis are qualified enough to do this right now because people watch a few videos, give readings, and scare people. or turn people's peace of mind upside down. Yeah, like they fuel something that really we need to be. This is a Kritika thing. We need to be our own critics.
Magnetic.
It must mean that Kritika has the power to protect and cut and remove that stuff. The Havan does, the fire does. You're right, Nath yogis always kept that Havan Kund. I mean, they kept that Duni. They kept their Duni burning. They call it the friend. It's the friend of the yogi. It's always burning. It's always burning everything around you. So I see it a different way. I see it as it must mean Kritika has something with cutting ties. And that's a powerful force, actually, because a lot of someone's thinking they got some curse on them. You talk to the other person. And it was a misunderstanding. And this person's doing all these remedies to just because they can't psychologically manage themselves. So I think Kritika holds you to responsibility is what I'm hearing in a lot of this talk is it must have, this is an namitta to me, because it must have something to do with the element of self-preservation, because it is when the umbilical cord gets cut. You're now an individual. You're surviving on your own. You're having to breathe air on your own. Your mother's no longer breathing for you.
I hear that.
You're no longer being fed with her blood.
Do hospitals and doctors preserve the placenta of the child for use later on, like some stem cell research in case of anything? Is that a common practice? Which means I'm talking about.
Oh my God! I'm ready to wrap it up.
The water flows when you come out, but what about that's protective cover?
Walking for like
nutrients. As a
one
matter
more
of fact,
try.
the animals in nature eat it.
Eat it.
They eat it off the baby.
Oh, even Chinese, they eat it.
Yeah, it actually.
So what I'm trying to say is, Bharani is the protective thing, and Kritika is eating.
Is the eating it? Yes.
Even the cat eats up the placenta.
I have rescue cats, but the reason I have so many is because I didn't know she was pregnant. And then I just let her, my brother and I have been caring for these cats. I mean, they're 16 years old now because I've got an ICU unit, the old cats. But when she had her babies, she ate every bit of it. It's nature. If you spend time in the woods, if you spend in the jungle or in the forest, animals eat all kinds of things. They're like, this world is driven by hunger. Everything is food. Everything is food.
There's no food in the
if we're truthful, which is where we get to the Shiva Trimurti portion.
This track on Anna coming soon.
It is the Shiva Trimurti Nakshatra.
Rosicrucians.
Shiva Trimurti is about truth. Truth is truth whether we like it or not.
That was a deep ass bar.
The truth of birth.
Thank you.
The truth of birth is very violent. It's very, the mother and the child could die. In the old days, there used to be a real risk of that. The mother was very vulnerable after having the child. I mean, the whole thing is a sacrifice.
There was never actually vulnerable.
And so there's almost a lack of realism that invaded our minds. And instead of
Free will is
Instead of
led by the
choosing the things that are
mother.
more true and simple, a lot of times we're complicating things by projected negativity, projected fears, projection on others. We look at a person, we think they're a certain way.
Come on.
This is not we're not using our discernment, we're not using our inner light to see something as it is. And that is a sword. So nature is what it is, whether we like it or not. It
also makes me wonder,
I tried to jump.
this whole concept of Jyotish, which has a Savya concept and Apasavya, which means moving forward, odd signs, and moving backwards for the even sign.
Yeah.
So Kritika Nakshatra, when it is first pada, you move forward, but when you go to the second pada, you move backwards.
Very interesting.
So,
Very.
why am I asking this question?
Retrograde.
Is something that is a thought-provoking thing. Does a mother give birth to a child, or a child gives birth to a mother?
A child gives birth to a mother only retrograde way. That's where free will is here. But forward thinking.
Woman pushing the child out, or is the child pushing the mother and coming out?
Both.
It's just a perception that you're seeing. Which side are you seeing?
Whichever
so
one.
So if the child is pushing the woman, as soon as the child comes out, she's called a mother.
I hear that.
Before that, she is a woman carrying a child within her. As soon as the child has pushed the mother and has come out, the child has become independent. Now you call her the mother. Or do you see the other way around, which is Savya? The child, the woman is pushing the child out, labor, pain.
So many good talismans.
But why can't you think the child is also pushing the mother out to be free?
In stuff way?
Yeah, that's the father is the son and the father of the man and all that, they say, right? So something similar actually. Son is the actual father of the man, kind of thing, same logic kind of thing, I think, yeah.
Introspection.
Come down to
This is the introspection. A young girl. Yes, exactly. See, I was watching a video of a young girl, very smart young girl, saying that the child was asked, "How old is your father?" She said, "He's 6 years old." What? Your father is 6 years old? Yeah, because I'm 6 years old. He was never a father before I was born. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Smart. He's only a father for 6 years. So how old is your father? 6 years. Right answer.
Last attempt.
How would a man be called a father till he had the child?
Retrograde planets?
Isn't it? This is the problem with us. We think too much of, we get into all of these things. We really don't know what is true.
No.
Both are same. Mother delivering a child or a child delivering a mother. Both are right. That's why Vedas talk about Brahma coming from Aditi and Aditi coming from Brahma.
Yeah, I hear that. But usually I call him Daksh.
Isn't it? That's the dichotomy we have seen.
Well,
they say Brahma is the son of Aditi. Immediately the next statement is Aditi is the daughter of Brahma.
That's it.
So which came first? Did death come first for rebirth to happen? Or you live first to die and to have again another?
And death is not real.
Or does death exist?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Is it a dream? We don't know.
Is it a dream?
Be wary of afterwards.
Yeah, we don't.
What is reality? Is raw?
Is raw real? A Jnani Nakshatra. This has been this conversation. And look, Ladhu Baba's just sitting. He's listening and looking at something.
I'm looking at galaxies and looking at the light.
Nice. Keep doing that, please.
I mentioned too many things. But I would say Kritika is also about transportation, man. We did not, I don't know whether the topic came.
So
transportation too, because for example, you see, what is Agni doing? Transporting materials from this loka to the other loka.
The portal thing. Is that
what is the Pleiades, Subaru. Have you heard the car?
Subaru is 6 stars. It's named after.
It's named after Pleiades constellation.
Oh, yes. I didn't even know all that.
And they're really reliable cars.
True.
Japanese car. I think in Japanese Kritika Nakshatra is called Subaru.
Subaru, yes. That's
happy.
And what is in Kritika right now? What is translating in Kritika,
I think Venus in Kritika right now, yeah.
I don't know about
it. Just left. It went into Rohini, and Surya went into Parni, so Kritika's him.
No, where is Jupiter? Jupiter is in Punarvasu.
Yeah. Jupiter's in Punarvasu.
So why?
Uranus is in Kritika.
She's talking about Venus and Sun.
No, Kritika.
What happened after Jupiter ruled Nakshatra?
Kritika. Yes, Surya and Shukra are him in Kritika. The two
Yeah.
Uranus is transiting through Kritika right now.
Lots of
Uranus
new
is another
sucks,
scientific,
bro.
so many launches and all I see nowadays. Artemis?
Yeah. Moon is in Uttara Falguni right now, training Kritika as well. So.
Surya Nakshatra.
Again, Surya.
I didn't realize
Surya
3
Nakshatra.
minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but guys,
Against
I
the
was
mom,
going to
the
say
internal.
abnormal responsibilities the last few weeks, just a bunch of things. So if I am not able to edit this video the same
She's like that as a junior way of like bringing some more information actually. So
I
she's
exited Kritika.
yeah. She's to prepare back again. So we'll wait until she brings the Rohini thing again. So we might be doing the Rohini video next time at some point in time. Okay, great. Thank you everyone. Okay,
Thanks.
Beach namaste. Okay, retrieve the lost runes. There's my honor. And all right, thanks for